Lovely.
Hello and welcome to the Paropod, episode 77.
77.
We're back in the pod. We've no headphones this time.
It's different vibes.
It's a completely different vibe. There's a lot more of a sensory experience. It's because we have a guest this week, a guest of honor, Liam De Bruin. He's here in the flesh. Liam, welcome.
This is a major honor. It is pretty surreal. It's weird seeing your faces. Paropod fans, thank you for having me. I won't let you down. And
the numbers of this episode are going to boost up because that's what happens every time that we have a guest on.
It's all about the
we're going to go
numbers.
from 12 to 15.
Oh, it's going to go from 15 to 17. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. But yeah, how you been, Liam? It's been a while.
It's been good. It's been pretty shit with lockdown, but just watching lots of movies, listening to Paropod. I feel weird, I feel like I should be plugging your podcast while I'm on your podcast, which is pretty weird.
That's a soundbite for the episode. That's going to be the Instagram.
I don't know. I feel like, do I have to justify why I'm here? I'm just...
You're a man that enjoys movies.
Liam is a film journalist.
That is all the qualifications that you need.
He is pro. We're amateurs here. Liam's actually professional. He gets paid to do this. We don't.
This is first time in a long time talking into a mic, so we're shaking off the rustiness for a bit, but feels good.
Podcasting is a real skill that you have to learn, innit?
It is. There's a lot to it. But then after about 3 weeks, you're like, this is actually pretty easy.
Yeah, it's all about into the flow.
Get into the flow of it. Once you have your equipment and you have a flow and you have a little routine, we have a very solid routine where it hasn't changed in about 75 episodes.
Only missed one episode.
Yeah, we missed 1 week, but that was a controlled landing. That was a ditch, We worked that. We planned it and it paid off.
We called it.
We called it.
Been a long time coming for me because I was actually meant to be on episode 69, which was going to be the highlight of my career. But it just didn't come through.
What episode is 77? Only like 10.
Is that
10 weeks. No, yeah. Weird, because we were meant to have Ross on. Ross probably does not listen to this podcast, so...
No, he's listening now.
Yeah, listen now. Ross, you should have been on this, but...
Hello, Ross.
We would have needed more microphones.
Yeah, true.
We're pushing it with 3,
Yeah, this is pushing our IT skills to the max here,
Is this 3-person system weird for you? Because you kind of feel like you're playing tennis looking back and forth at people.
It is quite weird because it's a triangle here. Because he could sit, because Owen's on the other side of the room. He's kind of far away.
Flaked.
He's really flaked over there, and he's in his own zone. But then we're over on the other side of the room. But you could have sat at the bed, but it'd be too cramped.
It's too cramped.
It'd be way too cramped. But I think it works. It works,
And those listening at home, this man is recording a podcast in his own bed.
Yeah.
Just
keep it cozy.
Which is as podcaster as
Listen,
it gets.
We should turn on the fire after the break.
Yes, absolutely.
We always light on the fire on the TV. It gives off vibes. There's something about it.
Also the incense as well.
The incense usually does be burning.
Yeah.
I meant to fill up my my oil diffuser. Do you use an oil diffuser?
Yeah.
Use into candles or anything?
Only
I like candles, but
oil diffuser in the house from Christmas. It's a game changer. It's so good.
Wait, is this an oil diffuser?
I said oil because you said oil. I just see that little circle thing.
Do you have one of these?
Is it shoots air? You put a little
air
juice
purifier kind of thing?
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
These are good.
What's your flavor of choice?
I'm on that fucking sandalwood at the moment.
Nice, bro.
Sandalwood's good shit. And I had a candle as well that was also sandalwood. You like the two of them? Man, let me tell you. Your room do be smelling good.
The coordination, I love it.
I
love it. Yeah, I love a candle myself, but I haven't got one of those vape yokes. I'll have to get into it.
Do you burn incense?
No.
Just straight candles?
Just straight candles. But I heard that a flavor, what would you say? Scented candles, they're actually toxic.
Man, I feel the same thing
really
about
toxic.
fucking... Honestly, when I fucking light incense, I'm pretty sure it's toxic.
What do you think... This is the reason I come on Paropod to talk about weird stuff, but have you talked much about the Goop candles?
Goop? Oh, the Gwyneth Paltrow stuff?
Yeah, those kind of ones. Have you seen those?
No.
The vagina candles?
No, have not seen that.
No. Oh, God. I think it was part of a SuperBowl ad this year as well, but she makes candles made out of...
How do you spell that? Goop?
Goop. Type in Goop candles. I know there's a bunch of weird flavors, but it's all about body
flavors. It's not scents, it's flavors.
Goop.
Goop candles. What was it made out of though? Like yeast or something?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Sorry, man. In my head, when you said vagina candles, I thought you meant that the candle was a vagina.
No, the smell.
The smell.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
This smells like my vagina.
Wait, it smells like a vagina.
But I don't own one, but I can only, and I've never make one of Outro, but I can only assume.
Yeah, I know Goop is a pretty strange brand. They have all these weird things. It's like one of those really like, it's like they sell like astrology stones and stuff like that, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like one of those like new age kind of things.
This man's adding about 10 into his basket right now.
I'm just like looking at it.
They're already on the way, like.
Because I'm assuming it's Gwyneth Paltrow's,
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah.
but like, does it actually smell like her vagina, or does it like when you light it,
We
it
need
just
to
smells like
ask Chris
roses?
Chris Martin, get him on the blower. What's the crack?
Get him on the pod.
But like, or does it just smell like roses, and that's like the joke?
I don't know.
Is it just the name?
I don't
that's
think
like,
she'd make that kind of joke. She seems pretty serious.
Oh, there's
know.
a Netflix series as well on Goop.
Is it?
Apparently.
Like an expose or like a promotion?
No, promoting one of those OG series, like I haven't seen it. It's like the Goop Clinic or something. It sounds really gross.
we should have named their podcast that.
The Goop Clinic. That's a great title. Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, there was. They gave us this voucher in work. Actually, it was like £100, like wellness kind of thing, and but you could only buy from 10 like pre-selected outlets or whatever. I was like, oh, the team is like Irish, like domestic businesses and stuff like that, like small businesses in Ireland. But like it'd be like €50 for a keep cup and stuff like that, and like fucking like active wear that's like ridiculously overpriced, and they only have like 10 items. One of them was like it was like a knickknacks basically kind of shop, but they had basically a vagina candle. It was candles shaped in like the female form basically.
Yeah.
But they're like £25. So you could buy 4 of them, and they're like the size of your fist, but like it's just you just have like a vagina or boob sitting on your desk like burning, and that was their idea of we're giving back to you. Thank you for working through the pandemic. Like this is our way of showing gratitude to all of you, like So I ordered 4 of them, and we'll see what it's like.
I mean, what the fuck else?
We'll see what it smells like anyway.
Do you ever see those chocolates that you can get ordered that are molded from your asshole?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
And it's like,
I think it would be so cool if you're like, and we're gonna taste test
Yeah.
right now.
like it's not even your butt, it's your asshole that's gooped.
How do you do that?
What is it that they do?
You have to take a mold.
Yeah, they send you a kit, you mold your asshole, and then you send them the mold, and then they make the chocolates from it.
Is it just the outer asshole? Is there like a penetration involved?
It's up to you, bro, I guess. I don't know.
It's shaped like a Hershey's Kiss.
It's shaped like kind of like I think it's shaped like a cone.
A cone, so there is. There's
Before
a bit of action.
Before I came on, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, how long before it gets weird in here?
There we go. It's about
Neem,
10 minutes
I
in.
started it in fairness.
Neem, you've seen me in film club. You know it gets weird real quick.
Yeah, yeah. This man.
Oh, shit, I looked up asshole candles. Chocolates is what I'm looking for.
Candles that smell like assholes. It's like the new goop trend.
It's not really a cone. It's more like a. I don't know. What shape would you describe that?
It kind of looks like a potty,
Yeah, it looks like a Toblerone, but with like the edges on the outside.
It's like inverted, yeah.
Yeah, who would you give that to?
Who's that for?
Yeah.
Give it to you, Liam.
Okay.
Daniel, watch the Super Bowl.
I watched the halftime show. I realized I couldn't sleep, and I was like, "Oh, the big game's on." I was like, 5 minutes to the halftime show."
Yeah.
And then outside that, nothing.
Who won?
I don't know.
The Bengals.
I watched.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Was it? Yeah.
It wasn't. Wait, they're the Rams, aren't they?
No,
Oh, no, the
it's
Rams
the
were the
Bengals
other guys.
versus the Rams.
We should probably look this up.
It
Who won
was
the
a
Super Bowl?
last-minute touchdown by the Bengals, I think.
Man,
Was
it's
it?
always it is always a last minute or last second touchdown at
It's
the end of the
rigged.
game.
It's absolutely rigged.
The Rams won
The Rams won.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh shit, never mind.
20-23.
You just dreamed that far.
Yeah.
It was Bengals 20, Rams 23.
There you
Gee
go.
bless.
Those games going on for hours, don't they? They
Well, I
went for
watched
like
the
6
first
hours or
quarter.
something.
It took about an hour.
Did you
First
enjoy
quarter
it
then.
though?
No, I didn't understand what was going on because it's like literally what people say. I understand like people are like, oh, like tennis is boring, cricket is boring. I actually enjoy cricket. I'm one of those weird people who actually like certain types of cricket. But like everyone's like, oh, American football, it's so boring. It's stop and start. There's so many ads. It's all completely true. Like it's actually not. It's not a good sport to watch. It's like it's more of an ad kind of thing. It's more the event.
Yeah, it's the event, but it is like I can understand it being a very technical game though. You know, the type of plays they have to do and stuff like that.
Yeah, I suppose. But like it's like rugby.
But they just
in that
start
kind of
like
way.
throwing flags on the pitch, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And the thing about like the American football too, like imagine, I don't know, I know you don't watch sports. Oh, Mark, are you a sports guy?
I watch sports.
You dabble. But do you
dabble.
imagine you're following your team and you're like, this is the biggest game ever. We haven't been to a final in so long.
And it's a football game.
Well, you pay the prices for those matches is like 10 grand per ticket for like the good ones. And you're like, okay, time to watch the game. And then The Rock comes out right before and starts doing a motivational speech.
Yeah.
You know, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's mad. It's a bit of a circus.
Sports. The Winter Olympics is also on.
I don't understand. Who actually watches the Olympics?
I would never watch the Olympics, but do you ever see some of the sports that they do in that? Like being on a sled and just going as fast as humanly possible around a bend, and there's just no seatbelts or anything. You're going head first, like
seatbelts. It's like you crash into the wall. It's
no,
like,
yeah,
it's
like that's it. You're fucked.
It's
like,
over. Yeah,
it's over.
Yeah.
There's no broken legs in this sport. It is death.
Yeah.
Did you use? I think you could have talked about this last week, but did you talk about the Italian guy who got hit in the dick?
In the
Mark
balls,
said he was French.
Yeah,
So I
French.
probably was.
It was
The Frenchman. Oh la la, monsieur. They're so
Yeah,
good.
that was it, monsieur, please.
The Olympics now, at the moment this year, they're worried that Russia's gonna invade before the end of it. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Gee,
in
that's
China,
just getting
though.
power,
China.
innit?
Yeah. That'd be like that's on the other side of the world. Like, that'd be
Yeah, no
alright.
biggie.
Yeah, you know, that'd be grand.
Man, I just watched the wind when the wind blows. I'm not gonna talk about that film, but
Oh, God.
I have a confession to make about that movie.
Wow.
I thought until we were talking about it, I was talking about it with you last week, that it was based on a true story. And in my head, I was trying to go, when did they drop nuclear bombs on England?
I don't remember you saying that.
I didn't say it.
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't say I was ashamed that I thought it, because you were all like, yeah, it's, making fun of people who thought that. And I was like, oh, fuck, shit. Because I thought it was like when the bombs go off in England and you hear the big horn thing.
The Blitz and all that type of shit. Yeah.
I thought it was that.
Well, that was the point, is that they thought it was gonna be like the Blitz, but it's way worse than that. But, man, this is like When the Wind Blows is basically Threads.
Ah, right.
But
That's a great film.
with an elderly couple that are just so nationalistic and are just like so with their heads like they're pure Brexit like Tories.
Yeah.
Who have their head they're nostalgic about World War II basically. And they're like, oh yeah, this war will just be like the old war and stuff like that. And when it hits, like, they're the last people on Earth, basically, is what it says.
Oh, shit.
And they are not aware of the situation that they're in, because they're like, oh no, like the Russians will come through or something, we gotta fight them off, but the Brits will never fall, it will be grand the entire way through. And they're like that until the very end.
Now, imagine all of this, but also keep in mind it's made and done in the same animation style as The Snowman.
Like,
Oh, right.
it's done with the same
Yeah.
guy.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd heard of it, but I'd never.
You should check it out, man. It's good. It's a very good film.
All
It's
right.
it's very like Threads as well.
Yeah, Threads is a classic.
Yeah, Threads is very good. Chernobyl's also very good as well.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen Chernobyl?
No.
Man, you need to watch Chernobyl.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I have to watch. But yeah.
But Chernobyl's short.
Is it?
5 episodes, 6 episodes.
Oh, is it? Or?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, yeah.
Have you seen Chernobyl?
No, I'm trying to say, I don't really think I've seen any like nuclear bomb content.
If you want to, because like Chernobyl was the first one that I watched that was like about like nuclear terror or whatever like that. Jesus, it made me realize like radiation is the worst shit imaginable.
Yeah, it's not good.
Like, I watched that and then I was like, that has just instilled a fear in me now about radiation. And then you watch like Threads, you're like, oh fucking hell. And you watch like when they drink like they've ran out of water in When the Wind Blows, and then it starts to rain.
Oh yeah.
And they put out pots and pans and stuff like this. And in a similar sense to Irreversible, there's like this like sickening noise that's being made while they're putting the water into the jugs and they start drinking, and when they stop drinking the music goes down, and then when they drink it again it rises back up because they're just drinking pure radiation.
Yeah. The new Christopher Nolan's gonna be about Oppenheimer as well. You see that?
Oh,
do you think that's him like kind of hopping on that, because that's a kind of niche genre of horror, I would say, like nuclear horror.
It's one of those ones where I'm not sure if they're gonna go full horror because of the cast that they have.
Yeah.
Like I think it's Cillian Murphy's gonna be leading for the first time in Nolan, but then it has like Robert Downey Jr. and stuff in it. Well, I'm like, Iron Man won't be.
Yeah.
Won't get radiated.
Cosmic horror, like
Yeah.
that's not gonna happen. But yeah, but like Nolan himself, he wouldn't go. It'd be more like a real high tech kind of like, oh, I know how nuclear bombs work. I'm going to show it off
Man, the
on a
nuclear.
big screen.
But like that's the thing. You like I want to see.
I want to see an IMAX. Yeah,
I want to see it in IMAX. I want to see a nuclear explosion done by Christopher Nolan in IMAX.
That's what he's good at.
Like
yeah.
that's going to be the point of that film, is for us to see that.
I think he needs to go up an age rating with his movies for it though, because I don't
Yeah.
think he's ever made anything that hasn't been like 15 over here. I don't think he's ever done like a rated R 18 movie. Memento's the only one that might be, but I doubt that is.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Especially like since Dark Knight, he's only done like PG-13s, get the butts and seats kind of movies.
Yeah. I
don't
remember
even
there's a
know.
big controversy over Dark Knight because it was like, oh, it's too scary and so it was like too graphic and all. But then he's just like, all right, I'll tone it down a bit.
And even when he did Dunkirk, it's a war movie. I know the point of it is that like it's not meant to be like a Saving Private Ryan or something.
Memento is rated R,
Oh, there you go.
but I don't know what it's aged here.
But that's a pure indie flick, like
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
oversight, you know.
What do you think of Memento?
It's a good film.
I've
It
never
is.
seen it.
I've seen it once. I was like, that's a good film.
I think it's the only Nolan, or one of the only Nolans I haven't seen.
I'd never watch it again.
Ever seen Prestige?
Oh, so good.
It's a great film.
It's good.
It's
actually
alright.
class.
I think it's
It's alright.
I
It's
think
alright.
There's two Hugh Jackmans.
I'd vouch for it as his best. That or
His best.
That is bold.
That is very
That or
bold.
Inception. I'd hold on.
Inception is his best.
Similar.
Inception is very good.
He's made 3 masterpieces, and it's
3?
Prestige. Yeah, I'd include Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
Yeah, Dark Knight's very good.
Dark Knight falls off to bits at the last third. Like
Yeah, it does.
It just
Like all
collapses.
Christopher
It
Nolan
collapses.
films.
Yeah.
The boat, though, your man's got the 2 bones.
That,
You're
it's
like,
good, but like the whole thing with Harvey Dent.
The
I was
Harvey
like,
Dent
bored,
stuff is so
bored.
bad.
Yeah,
I
just get it over
disagree.
with.
I remember watching that in cinema, and I thought the movie was over after. I was only like 8 at the time, so it was a bit
Yeah, that's the
stupid.
worst bit about it. It's like, oh, this is still going.
The Harvey Dent stuff's so good. The effects on him, and I think Aaron Eckhart's only been good in one movie, and it's that.
The Core.
Mark loves the core.
The Core. You ever seen The Core?
Is that the one that Cameron produced? Or I think, or is that The Abyss?
That's The Abyss.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen The Core.
No, The Core is good. But yeah, no, the Harvey Dent is like, you know, yeah, he's Two-Face now, but it's just there's no. What's the stakes, you know?
What about the speech at the end?
The speech, yeah,
the guy-
it's chills, yeah. It's like,
yeah, come on, the dogs are going after him. Oh, so
It lasts 10 minutes.
the night vision, is that the end of Dark Knight when, or he's fighting? Is before the Joker's like dangling and he goes through the warehouse.
Yeah. You
Well-
can see through walls and all, yeah.
I'm really living my dream of being a passionate defense of the Dark Knight on the podcast.
No, Dark Knight is
I'm
good,
gonna-
but like it's a bit like Interstellar, where I think like the last
yeah.
third just shits the bed.
Definitely. Interstellar, some incredible set pieces. I was-
Jesus, the first 2 hours. Well, the writing, oh man, I noticed that on rewatch recently. Like the writing's not great. Like the actual dialogue in the film ain't great.
Yeah.
But Jesus, like that doesn't really matter when this fucking set pieces and spectacles are so
The
good,
spectacles is
and the
insane.
concept is so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Such a great
yeah,
concept.
Yeah. The actual astrophysicist on
Which is
board.
why Tenet then is such a letdown. Like what is the concept in that?
Tenet
Like
has a decent concept. Like you're going backwards, but like it's actually like I don't even know how to explain.
it's
it.
forward, but it's backwards.
Yeah, it was cool. Like reverse entropy.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
What the fuck? No, for reverse, whatever about reverse entropy. What the fuck is entropy? Didn't even explain what that was.
Yeah.
I know that's about like energy or some shit, like the flow of energy or whatever.
It's something, the decay of energy or something like that.
I think that movie's like a final like action sequence and a good villain away from being great, because I think it's going really good up until the end, and it's like they have red and blue teams doing the same thing, but one's like 5 minutes ahead, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Just like gunplay, which Nolan doesn't really do, and then you have our very own Kenneth Branagh, Academy Award nominated, doing a really dodgy,
Yeah, he was Russian in the film, wasn't he?
He was so shit.
and he dies in a really funny way. That movie's 2 years old.
Yeah.
You
He's
remember
also
how
a
he
bad.
dies?
He's also the villain. So
Do you remember how he
how's
dies?
died?
He's like running on the boat and he slips and hits his head.
yeah,
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
yeah, he trips up in blood.
Yeah.
I hate Kenneth Branagh. Is this a safe?
Yeah, it's a
space
safe.
to
It's
say
a
that.
safe
Very
place.
safe
I
space.
really hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I don't get
man.
it.
That man has. Have you seen Belfast?
No.
That movie irked me so much. I
Oh,
haven't been
yeah?
So,
Really? Yeah.
yeah. It was just
What's your take?
Belfast, like, it's like set during the Troubles, and obviously, but the whole sort of like let's romanticize it, which I know he's like it's been all good during that from his perspective, and it's from a child's perspective. But you see like other movies that are based on a child's perspective during like harrowing events. Trying to think of one off the top of my head.
Like Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah, Boy in Striped Pajamas. I'm
Yeah.
not mad on that movie, but just ones like
Jojo
that.
Rabbit.
Jojo
Yeah.
Rabbit. That's a yeah.
And they still show
That's the
in
best
those
example.
movies. They still show like what's actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
Of what I feel in Belfast is just like they only kind of like hint at it, but they don't want to commit to it. Like his theme is all about like a little kid trying to find love and enjoy the little things in life, and I'm like, it like which is a good.
You need to show the horror though,
You really
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
and you don't. And but like
Definitely.
as Sir Kenneth Branagh, you don't want to show that. You don't want to show why it was horrifying. So we lost a bit of footage there, but it's grand. It's no biggie. It's no biggie.
Right.
It's no biggie. Yeah, ready? But yeah, Belfast, whatever about that film.
Belfast, fuck it. Kenneth Branagh, Sir Kenneth Branagh, please leave. Don't represent us. You
The
know?
crazy thing about that is like his in between, like he got nominated best director for Belfast, thoroughly undeserved, but
But he's best director. Sorry, that's
Yeah.
the best actor for some reason.
but in between those two movies, so his filmography has Belfast, and then either side of it you have the Disney Artemis Fowl live
Yeah.
action.
He did that.
He did that.
That's where he met. I don't know if he met her there. He's probably in other of his stuff, but Judi Dench was in that too, and she's
Yeah.
in Belfast. It was really bad Belfast accent. I got nominated for an Oscar, but then his new one came out on Friday, or probably 2 Fridays ago at this stage. But Death on the Nile, which is I don't know, have you seen the production on
No.
that?
I've
It's-
seen people lampooning Gal Gadot on Twitter for.
Well, it has Gal Gadot, who's probably the least problematic of the cast. It also has
Jeez, that says a lot, doesn't it?
it also has Russell Brand and Letitia
yeah.
Wright from Black Panther, who both have kind of dodgy vaccination
Yeah.
stances.
Oh shit.
And
yeah.
you're kind of like, at that, you're like, okay, we have those three: Godot, Brand, and Wright. How could it get any worse? Our leading man,
Joe
is
Rogan.
Armie Hammer.
Army hat, is it?
Armie, well, Branagh plays Poirot, again doing a funny accent, but Gal Gadot's husband is Armie Hammer.
Jesus fucking Christ.
How'd they allow that to?
I don't know, because
I haven't seen him in any promotional material. To be fair.
he's like cut out heavily from all the trailers, but they didn't edit it. Like the new Taika Waititi movie was made. It's not out yet, but he's doing one called goes Next Goal Wins, and it's about the Australian football team that like lost by the most amount of goals ever, and that was filmed with Michael Fassbender as one manager, and Armie Hammer was the villain manager, and they had it all
Jesus.
done. But he's gone back and done it completely again, but swapped Hammer out for Will Arnett.
Yeah, that's a good
nice.
show.
Yeah, it's pretty
yeah.
cool. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Will Arnett, what a king.
Yeah, what a legend.
What a fucking king.
Didn't Kenneth Branagh do that really bad Thor film as well?
Which one, sorry?
Was it the second
Dark
Thor
Elf,
film?
whatever the fuck it
Oh no,
was.
I did the first one.
The first
Yeah,
one?
I did
Oh,
first
that
one.
wasn't that bad.
First
It was
one, that's
Game
wild.
of Thrones dude did Dark World. The Game of Thrones guys, from the best of my memory, have only done like 2 big blockbusters, and one was Thor 2 and the other one was the David Harbour Hellboy.
Did you ever see that film?
Awful. I've seen
It's
it twice.
so bad.
I've
You've seen it twice.
I've seen it
Jesus.
with our friend Corn in cinema, and he walked out, and I was watching it with him.
He
and
walked out?
Yeah, he walked out with 10 minutes left. I was like, I was meant to be going home.
Yeah, I didn't even finish that film. I was just like,
Awful.
I was like, this is just so boring.
I thought it wasn't that bad.
Have you seen it?
No, I'd heard that it wasn't that
Nah,
bad.
man. There's just
Yeah?
something about it.
Alright, yeah.
There's just something about it that's just off.
Mm.
That a film, there's a missing component to a film there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it's weird. the like makeup and shit in it is really cool.
Can I ask a Paropod question that I always hear you asking, and you never kind of always like ask at a random moment? Is that okay? Is that
Yeah, go
allowed?
ahead.
I'm gonna ask Mark. Mark, what have you been watching this week?
What have I been watching? That's a great question. That's a great question.
How the hell I do? Did I do it?
Getting us back on track. I love that. Yeah, I had a look at this film called Fluke. Ever watched that?
No, I haven't
Ever
heard
of it?
No.
It's kind of like what was that film that yous were watching and we watched quite a bit of it here, where there's like a dog and he's like it's a talking dog.
Oh, fucking
Love on a Leash?
Love on a Leash.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Love on a Leash.
That sounds great.
Yeah. It's like a 1995 film, but star-studded cast. Has Matthew Modine from
No.
from Full Metal Jacket, main guy in that.
Oh,
He stars as the dog, and also the dog in his previous life. You also have Sam Jackson. You have Ron Perlman, and you also have the star. No, the star of the show is, you remember Air Bud?
Yes.
It's Air Bud. It's Buddy from Air Bud, and he's the main dog.
And is this a comedy or?
It's a comedy drama kind of thing.
what's
Mhm.
that?
What's it about?
Yeah.
It's
It's about a talking dog, bro.
It's about a talking
What
dog.
else do you need?
But he doesn't talk. Like he's just like kind of his inner like monologue, you know?
Yeah.
Because it starts off and it's like this guy, Matthew Modine, and he's crazy, but like he seems like really stressed or whatever, and he's driving really fast down the road, and he's trying to overtake this guy who's in the different cars, played by Eric Stoltz. You know, the guy who's supposed to play Marty McFly before he got booted off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's him in a big goatee, and
Is it a big dirty goatee?
yeah, it's a big. It looks
Nice.
It looks kind of dodge. But then the truck comes down the other side of the road, and Matthew Modine has to fucking drastic maneuvers. Anyway, he goes flying into a ditch and he dies. But the next scene, he's reincarnated as a dog, and he befriends this homeless woman, and he gets named Fluke because he does little tricks and stuff like that. And they're like, the street people are like, it's just a fluke, and she's like, Fluke by name, Fluke by nature, and it's like the start of the film basically. Then the homeless woman dies, and he's sort of like cast off on his own, and he meets a black street dog played by Sam Jackson, who lives in a dump, and they kind of like, they learn the streets together and stuff like that. But yeah, things get kind of out of control. Animal control are called. They're kind of the Pound are after them, and all the while, little Fluke is kind of starting to remember his past life, to the extent that he remembers the exact phone number of his home address and calls his wife.
Jesus fucking.
Pause the phone somehow and calls his wife, and she's like, hello, and he just like licks the receiver, and she's like, what the fuck is this, But it's like he's slowly getting back to remembering who he was. This guy, Tom, I think his name was, like the Matthew Modine character. Anyway, he's caught by animal control and brought to not animal control. He's caught by Ron Perlman, who was like a rough kind of street guy who's like, he has like oiled back hair and stuff. He's Ron Perlman, yeah, but like younger. But he looks the exact same, which is really weird. He's like someone who like never aged, but he always looked old.
Yeah.
He's caught by him, and he sells into like an animal testing lab. And so he's brought to this lab, and they do all these weird tests on him. They're like doing like this kind of experiment on his eyes. And the scientist is like reading the charts, and it's like every scene in the film is like telegraphed to bits. Like every scene is like a cliche or like just like ripped out of another film. It's like the scientist is like reading the charts, and he's like, "This is impossible." It's like I don't know what he's seeing, but he's getting to know that Fluke isn't what he seems.
He's more.
At that moment, Sam Jackson's dog Rumbo bursts through the glass,
Fucking hell.
and saves all the animals in the lab.
Is he reincarnated, or is he just a dog?
Yeah, that's the thing. Because like when they escape the lab, Ron Perlman, he starts shooting at the animals as they're fleeing, and he shoots Rumbo in the ass. And him and Fluke are fleeing through the forests, and like Rumbo starts to succumb to his injuries, and he eventually he dies by this little lake, and it's quite a sad scene. It's like very emotionally touching. And like Rumbo and Fluke can communicate with each other because they're dogs, internal. It basically explains as vibes, but they can communicate in a quite sophisticated manner. And before he dies, Rumbo reveals that what Fluke is kind of feeling is true. That like they were previously humans in a past life, and Rumbo talks about how he was a sailor in the Navy, but eventually, Rumbo's dead. Fluke runs off. He somehow manages to track down his son, who's he tracks down his school.
This film sounds really fucking bad, Mark.
No,
I think it sounds great.
This is on the first half an hour.
What?
The film is just beginning.
Are you fucking serious?
I thought we had 10 minutes left here.
No, because most of this film is just like, it's the family drama, the family dynamic between the family as they existed before, like Tom's widow and his young son, and this like fucking stray dog Fluke who makes his way into their life.
How long is this film?
Fluke, they take him in. They're like, oh, this poor stray dog, and he's like really insistent. The dog's really insistent. He's like, I want to be your pet. And like they're hanging out in the gaff one day, and all of a sudden, Eric Stoltz's character Jeff walks into the gaff and kisses Tom's wife, and like you're like, he's getting cooked by Jeff, like, and like this is his guy. This is the guy. Our impression is that Jeff killed Tom, and so obviously Fluke is raging and he hates Jeff, and he gets kicked out. But then it becomes apparent that things aren't all that they seem, because Jeff is like fleeing. He's going to get help from like the police or something like that. Like this, like Fluke is like a serious machine in this film. Like he nearly takes down a full-grown man, even though he's like quite a small lab. He's like a puppy. But he's driving to find the police, and out of nowhere, Fluke appears in the back seat and like attacks him, and Jeff goes flying off the road and crashes in the ditch, in like a replay of the opening scene. And there's this hilarious shot where it's like a ragdoll fucking stuffed dog it's just like propelled through the windscreen and goes flying out into the darkness. But then Fluke remembers that he wasn't killed by Jeff, but he was actually, the whole thing was that Tom was like this workaholic dad who never saw his kids. There's this whole scene where it's Tom and Jeff in the office, and Jeff is like, oh, Tom, you got to go home to your wife and your kid. And Tom's just sitting there in the office like smoking cigars, and it's like 9:15, and he's like, who else is going to do the work around here? And he's like lights up another cigar. He doesn't do any actual work, but like we're giving the impression he's like a real workaholic who's never at home. But then on the way home that night, apparently, which was the first scene of the film, they're driving home, and like Tom has a real beef with Jeff, and he tries to drive him off the road, and that's what the opening scene was. It was actually Tom who tried to murder Jeff. So the whole thing was Fluke was reincarnated as a dog because of his crimes in a past life. And so he learns to, the whole moral of the story is that, enjoy the little things and don't treat others as you'd like to, or as you'd like to be treated. Absolutely. But then in the final scene, you get this, Fluke is like, he runs off, like he's made peace with the fact that Jeff is going to look after his family. He's just trying to murder
Jeff, and he's like, I am at peace now.
Yeah. Well, Jeff survived and all, but he's at peace, so Jeff will look after the family. His kid, Billy, he'll be fine. The wife be fine. And he runs off to like find another family or live his life in the wild. And he runs into the squirrel, and the squirrel runs down, and it turns out he's voiced by Sam Jackson, who seems to be in like this karmic spiral.
Jeez, what the fuck did he do?
He must have been a war criminal in some past life, and he's like, I'm a squirrel now.
Yeah, this Navy soldier. What the fuck did he do?
First he was a dog, and then he became a squirrel. Like where is he going next?
Well, as you said, like the Jeff thought he was in the right, but he was actually in the wrong. So Sam Jackson could have been on the wrong side.
Jesus, Sam Jackson did something horrific and still hasn't realized that he did
some kind of war criminal. Yeah. But it was a heartwarming kind of. It was actually quite well made.
How long is this film, Mark?
It's about an hour and a half.
Are you serious?
Well, like everything happens in the first half an hour. Like the setup is like so convoluted.
But I felt like you were talking about that for half an hour.
The setup is so convoluted that it feels like it's taking ages. But then like it gets into a clip and you're like, you're getting into it. And there's about an hour of that, and then it just ends. And then you have like Squirrel Sam Jackson, who was fucking obviously did something awful. And
who made it?
I don't know. No idea.
Why did you watch this film?
Why not? I saw it was on the list of like, it came up in Google like beside like Love on a Leash and like A Dog's Purpose and all those things. I think those films are always good to watch, or they're good fun.
Love on a Leash is not. That film is so fucking bad.
Did you talk about that?
Yeah.
Did we talk about it on the pod?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, briefly.
What an experience.
Yeah, transcendental is what I would describe that film.
Yeah.
Monumentally bad.
That's a whole different side to filmmaking.
That's a whole different side to bad. Like you, like that will. Whatever you think a bad film is, You watch Love on a Leash, and you get fucking vibe checked.
Yeah.
Actually is like, I'm not trying to use hyperbole or anything, but it genuinely is the worst movie ever made.
Oh, easily.
I've tried to watch a lot of those lowest rated movies like Birdemics, and
I got my bad movie Friday, bad film Friday.
none have heard as much as Love on a Leash. But I think the thing about it, if you remember, is that it doesn't have a soundtrack. It's just all
Yeah.
No,
It's like fucking ambient noise.
Yeah. I remember the scenes where clearly music was meant to be used because nothing is happening.
Yeah, like the sound cuts off.
Yeah.
What a masterpiece,
Yeah.
a postmodern masterpiece.
I think you asked me, because I kind of forget about Love on a Leash sometimes. I think you asked me what's the worst film I've ever seen. Love on a Leash is the worst film I've ever
Love
seen.
Unleashed.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely, hands down. I don't even think there's anything
Food
close.
Fight is a second.
Food Fight is
Haven't done
probably
that.
be mine. You should watch Food Fight.
Yeah,
It's very
Food Fight
funny.
is the
Very
like
funny.
you watch Food Fight, and in a similar sense to Love on a Leash, you get like vibe checked for like how bad you think bad animated films look. Because you haven't seen bad animation until you've seen Food Fight.
What would you say, like, if that's the worst movie you've ever seen, what's been the most disappointing? Like when your expectations have just been sky high and you went in and you went, fuck it.
Halloween.
Halloween 2,
Halloween
yeah.
2.
Kills?
Halloween Kills.
Halloween Kills,
Yeah, that's bad.
dog shit.
That's really
Dog shit film. Because I was like, because it was just a letdown. Because the first one was better than it had any right to be,
It's great.
and then the second one is just like you could put that in with the ones from the 2000s and the late 90s, and it would make them look really good. And that's what it did, because we actually watched them in the lead up to going to see Halloween Kills.
Yeah, we were on the binge.
Yeah.
It's like, jeez.
The one with like fucking Paul Rudd is like looks better.
Yeah.
It's actually a better film than Halloween Kills.
But Evo didn't die tonight in that one.
Evil
Yeah.
didn't. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah, it's missing
Yeah.
a piece. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see
Oh, jeez. Tell you what we'll see.
what we see.
We'll see the Batman when it comes out.
Batman.
We'll see the Batman when it comes out. But for the time being, why don't we start our new series?
Let's do it.
Michael Keaton, Batman, 1989. 89?
Yeah, 89. Yeah.
89? We'll go with 89. I don't know if it's 89.
It's
I feel like
on
it's
the
earlier than that.
It's 89.
You've seen this film, Liam?
Yep, I have.
This is handy. So now we can sync up with this one. Yeah, what did you think of Michael Keaton as Batman, firstly?
Not man.
He's just a guy in a suit, you know?
I don't like how his shoulders-
He's just a guy, like.
His shoulders don't really move. Like, he's very rigid when he moves.
Yeah.
So rubbery.
Is that actually a thing that, like, I think I'd heard that before, like that was a problem with the suit, that you actually couldn't move, because it was like, it wasn't just a mask, it was like the full kind of
Because it never looked
down
right.
to the shoulders. Yeah,
That
yeah.
was all of those suits at the time. Like Predator came out around the sort of same couple of years, and Jean-Claude Van Damme was Predator, but he only lasted a few days because he couldn't hack the suit.
Yeah.
The suit was fucking
You know?
huge.
It was just one of those yokes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it just looks, because it's rubber, he looks real stiff. And even him as fucking Bruce,
I can't see it, like.
I can't really see
I
it.
can't
Like
see it. But I've heard that he is the best Batman before
Christian
Christopher
Bale.
Nolan, or Christian Bale.
He is by default.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
That's
that's
like
what
the
it is.
competition isn't exactly hot. Like,
yeah. That's very true. But yeah, he literally is just a guy. He's just a random guy.
When you watch it now, you want to think like, that's Michael Keaton. He's like in Birdman. He's
because that's all I know him from. All I know
Yeah.
him from is Birdman.
Prestige actor, like, but you don't think of watching Batman.
Yeah, I just couldn't like get over the lisp. I was just seeing your man from the other guys.
I forgot he's in the other guys
put
as
my
well.
kid through college. He wants to be
Yeah.
bisexual.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't buy him.
How are you introduced to him in this movie? I don't really remember it that well.
How are we introduced?
Clearly
Oh, it's
you
just
saw
today.
it either.
Well, we see Batman first, and then there's kind of like build up to who Bruce Wayne is. It's like, oh, because they keep talking about Bruce Wayne, and then we never see him. And then I think it's something like, oh, like she bumps into someone. It's like, oh, sorry, I'm looking for Bruce Wayne, and you're just like, well, that's fucking Bruce Wayne. Like,
Yeah,
but for
yeah.
the film, it's just like, ooh, who's Bruce Wayne? And then he turns around, and it's like, oh,
That's
yeah,
like,
I
oh,
am.
it's just literally just a random guy. At the
Yeah, it's
party,
like, oh yeah, no, I am Bruce Wayne. Like, but like I think that's how I think that's how he's introduced.
That kind of sums up his Batman. Like, literally no presence in the room whatsoever. No one knew that he was the owner of the gaff. Like,
Yeah.
it's like who's Bruce Wayne? Oh, it's your man over there. Like,
Yeah, he
he's
didn't
just
feel
there.
important.
Yeah, he just feels like a random guy.
Like, you haven't even seen Val Kilmer. He's just he's
Yeah, I know.
Kilmer, yeah.
exactly.
See, that's what I'm worried about, because like people say like, oh, the first Batman is very good. It's all right. Like
It is all right.
It's fine.
What's your prognosis on the Joker, on Jack Nicholson's Joker?
He has a guy with him who carries a boombox, which I think is pretty sick. The only sort of
He's the best thing in the film.
yeah, he's pretty cool.
That's his only job. Yeah,
He's carrying a boombox.
he's the
And then
hype
he
man. Like,
kicks the shit out of Batman, and then Batman kills him, like straight up kills him.
that's his rule.
That's
yeah.
just like his whole thing is that he doesn't kill. He won't kill the Joker, but he yeeted this dude off the top of a building, no bother.
it's kind of like it kind of feels like every actor, and including Nicholson, is like a diet version of themselves. Like Nicholson's still at the peak of his powers when this movie comes out, and you watch it and you're like, hey, just a guy wearing he wears a funny hat, if I remember.
He's a
Does he
dude.
Yeah, he wears like a big like Rasta hat. Like,
Yeah.
but it's purple.
But like, this is the thing as well. It's like because there's a backstory to the Joker in this one. Like, I never bought him as the Joker. I just saw him as the fucking gangster that he was at the start of the film, and he never really shifted. Even when he's more crazy, it was like, yeah, I mean, you're a more crazy version of what you were, but you're still Jack Torrance, whatever the fuck your name was in this.
Yeah, what was it? Jack
does he
Napier,
get a name?
He's named. He's a named character.
Jack Napier, yeah.
Jack
Not
Napier. Yeah.
Arthur Fleck.
Oh yeah.
Arthur Fleck.
boy.
Yeah,
At
they
least
made
that's
that
the
one
point
up,
of that
didn't they?
film. At least that's the point of that film.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's never been done before. We're gonna give Joker a backstory. Meanwhile, you're watching this film, and just like, oh,
Yeah.
he's a henchman and he got fucked
There's
over.
the bit, like he has a fake gun or something, and it goes off.
Yeah, it was
or,
bang.
I think that's the only bit I remember being like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Like, there's some bits in it that like, it is iconic, but it's also kind of shit. And I feel like the tone of like the acting and the dialogue and stuff like that does not really match up to the aesthetic of the film, because it's very cheesy, but the aesthetic is really hardcore gothic, like Tim Burton-esque.
Yeah,
Which I loved.
This was the dark Batman.
Yeah,
This was a dark take on Batman. That like originally, before we had like the Dark Knight.
That
and
just
stuff.
shows how goofy Adam West was. Like,
yeah. They had to like take it down in steps.
I think though, like this kind of movie, you have to contextualize it, and when it actually came out, like before this, the only superhero movies that you have is Superman, probably 1, 2. I don't know if they got to 4 by the time Batman came out, but there wasn't really, like, obviously Marvel doesn't happen to the late 2000s. You know,
even
there's-
early 2000s, like fucking
Spider-Man,
X-Men and
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
I honestly can't think of anything.
Yeah. But still,
Don't worry.
Still,
they could have done better.
they could have done better.
You know the scene
It's because
where
it's Tim Burton, bro. Someone else could have done better. I don't really like Tim
It's
Burton
not
as a
even
director.
really feel like a Tim Burton film at all.
No.
Like, it has the aesthetic, as you say. Like, it's clearly
But
very.
that doesn't match.
It does. Yeah, it doesn't match, because it is kind of like it's trying to be serious, but it's also like they're like. Yeah, there's a huge cheese element to it. Like, you know the scene where like they're in Vicky Vale's apartment, and the Joker bursts in, and Bruce Wayne is there, and he reveals himself, and he squares down the Joker, but then he like flies off into this rage with a poker.
Yeah.
But like that looked like something out of like a student play or something like that.
Yeah, it looked
But like
yeah.
I've seen that.
It was
This is one of
goofy
the,
as
like,
fuck.
one of the best scenes in like Batman history and stuff. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
a terrible
Is
scene.
that Do You Want to Get Nuts? You want to get
Yeah,
nuts?
yeah, you wanna
get
nuts?
That
Yeah.
bit's great.
Yeah, but it's like
It comes out of nowhere.
But
Yeah,
it's
it goes out
cheesy,
of
but like
nowhere.
it's like I thought this was meant to be the dark Batman film,
Yeah.
and it's
But
really cheesy.
He gets shot straight after, and you're like, he's dead. You know, like there's like no like fluency. There's no like
Yeah.
coherence to like what they're going for. Based
Yeah.
off what I could tell, but there is, obviously contextual. You got to contextualize, you know. It's like it was the 80s.
It's a
was the
different
80s.
time.
Yeah.
It was a different time. Because, like, even, like, you know that bit where Joker's running through the museum, the art museum, and he's, like, wrecking all the paintings and stuff like that. I feel like in 1989, like, pre-Banksy and stuff like that, and when he was destroying that, I was like, well, you've just increased the value of all this,
Yeah.
all these artworks.
Yeah.
These were like worth thousands, hundreds of thousands. These were millions now. These are paintings destroyed by the Joker.
Yeah.
Art galleries were a lot bigger back then. Like,
Yeah.
no one really cares about art galleries now. You destroy one in the 80s, you're the shit. You know, you do one now, you're like, come on.
Yeah, you're a postmodernist
Yeah.
genius.
The Joker today hacks into people's Ethereum wallets and steals their NFTs.
Still their NFTs. Like,
Who's the who plays? Is it Vicky? You said her name was.
Vicky Vale, yeah.
Who is that?
I don't have no idea.
some lady.
She looked familiar, but
She does look familiar. She's definitely
is
in
it Kim
stuff.
Basinger? That's my wild guess.
Yeah, I
Because
think
she
it
looked
is.
like the Simpsons
Yeah.
character, you know, from that episode where he befriends Kim Basinger and Alec Baldwin.
And Ron Howard's there.
Yeah. That's a great episode.
Who is it? It is.
I think it is Kim.
It is Kim.
Yeah, there you
Kim
go.
Basinger.
They did
yeah.
a great job in that animation. It literally looks like her.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah. I'd love to have. I would love to have an Alfred. Alfred's very good in this film.
He's the same Alfred, I think, for all of them. I could be wrong in saying that, but I'm pretty sure he's Alfred the whole way through. I'm gonna sound really stupid if it's not.
I don't know if he is or not.
I think he is true to Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's the only mainstay.
I would take this Alfred over Michael Caine Alfred.
nah,
no.
come on.
So
How?
like,
How?
shut up, Alfred! Fucking lecture me over this stuff.
What about his story in The Dark Knight about Burma? Where
Yeah. And he's like choking up.
yeah.
Oh, I just
So-
want Alfred to
so
fucking,
good.
like tell old man stories like he does in this one. He's like, oh, back in my day when it did.
Oh,
He's too refined, you know. You can't believe this man's been through
I don't want
a lot,
any
you know?
grit to my Alfred.
I'll give you 10
I
quid.
I want them
think
obedience.
I'll give you 10 quid right now, Owen, if you can tell me who Ben Affleck's Alfred is. No.
Fucking Ben.
Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, he knows.
Is it Jeremy Irons?
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
suit-
fucked.
it
I don't want that.
It doesn't work at all.
You know
It
who
feels
new
like-
one is?
Huh?
You know who new Alfred is?
I feel like I do.
Oh yeah, I
Big
don't know.
Andy Serkis.
Oh yeah, Andy Serkis is Alfred. That seems like low.
I just see
billing for him.
I just see Gollum if he was doing that, and I don't want Gollum being my.
I just see Caesar.
Yeah.
You know, you should have a monkey butler. You know,
Yeah, he's still doing it in the balls.
mocap.
Yeah.
he's like an old man. You don't know it's Andy Serkis.
CG Alfred.
Yeah. What are your expectations for the new Batman, Liam?
See the fact that it is the Matt Reeves, I think that Planet of the Apes trilogy is unreal, especially the second two. Like, first one's generic action movie. I just think it has so much writing for it. Like, I think Reeves has the potential to be one of the best. Like, I don't even know, do we really have action movie auteurs anymore? We don't really, because you don't really see that many Marvel movies go to the director of that. But I think Reeves has the potential to do it. I also think you have a career best Pattinson at the moment. I don't think he'd go from doing the likes of Good Time. What's that one?
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse. What was the space one? What's that called? The Claire Denis one?
Oh.
Was that High Life?
High Life,
Yeah.
Yeah. Have
I
you ever
don't-
seen that?
No.
Yeah. I saw a movie.
What do you think?
I don't like it.
It's dog shit, man. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I was watching it with my family. We didn't even get to all the fucking bullshit at the end of the film that I read afterwards. But like, I was watching with my family. I was like, this is so boring. We were like, I need to go to the toilet. Hit pause. Half an hour in, the whole family groaned up and turned it off.
I was at week 1 of pandemic.
Oh,
I was like,
Jesus.
I was like,
I think we did the
maybe-
same thing.
Yeah, maybe all this free time isn't so good.
I think we did the same thing. I think because we got Mubi at the start of the pandemic. Mubi's very good.
But
Mubi.
he wouldn't. I just don't see him doing everything that he has been doing and then being like, I'm just gonna go set out to make studio movies. And as well, I wasn't really impressed by the second and third trailer, but that initial one that came out with I think Something in the Way Nirvana's playing in it. That trailer's so good. And
Did you get a pang of horror when you saw it was 3 hours long,
No.
like we did?
3 hours. That's
There.
a bit long, isn't it?
Well, like
That's a bit long. That's the longest Batman movie
Yeah, it is.
by far.
I think it could work though. Like, the way I kind of see it is, I know we kind of roll our eyes at 3-hour movies, and obviously the Batman's not going to be like a film from the 1930s or like a Ben Hur or something.
Yeah.
But movies used to be so long. Like Avengers Endgame was 3 hours.
Didn't see that though, bro. Did I?
I watched,
Yeah,
I
didn't
watched
see that.
put it this way, if the Snyder Cut can have 4 hours,
Didn't
or
see that
three,
either.
it's a 3.5. I think it's 4 hours.
It is 4 hours.
Yeah.
Snyder Cut can be 4, what's actually like, but if that can be 4 hours, Pattinson can have 3.
But no one saw that, like, you know, Snyder Cut.
I was there, man. I was
there day one.
I was open day. I had cheese puffs with it. It was the most dude bro experience
Was
ever.
that playing in cinemas? Yeah.
No, it came out last year, but it was straight to streaming.
Right,
I think it was on like Now TV here.
yeah.
Yeah, it is on Now TV
It's
still.
really good. I really like it. But
I've heard it's quite good. Yeah,
and
I've heard it's better than the Joss Whedon one, but you know that's a very low
that's
bar.
a low bar. Yeah.
probably.
Much like fucking Christian Bale being Batman. That's a very low bar to be the best one.
Are you an anti Christian Bale Batman?
No, I like Christian Bale as Batman. I mean, he is my Batman because that's what I grew up watching. I didn't grow up watching this.
See, Batman's
these old
my
ones.
favorite superhero, probably. Batman or Spider-Man. But,
Same.
but just-
Spider-Man is my superhero, like for
yeah.
nostalgia and everything. Like Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man for me. Though rewatching Spider-Man 1, I was like, "Jeez, this movie is so cheesy.
You're wrong.
It's so
great.
stilted. It's
so
so awkward."
The thing with this new Batman as well, it kind of does feel like, even though Affleck was Batman for technically 3 movies or something, if you include his 2 Justice Leagues, it feels like the first Batman we've had in 10 years. I know it's the first solo movie, but in general, it's just kind of like you see.
I mean, I understand because Ben Affleck he never had his own film.
Did you know? Actually, we should have said it on topic of Michael Keaton, but he's coming back. You know this?
He's coming back to Batman.
Yeah, he's coming back in Flashpoint, the new Ezra Miller's one that's coming out this year.
Oh,
He's
are
coming
they
back
doing
as
multiverse?
Batman.
Are
Yeah,
they
him and
doing
Affleck,
multiverse stuff as well? Are they?
Yeah.
Come on.
Keaton's-
TV shows are doing it.
Yeah, Keaton's meant to have a prominent role in this new Flash movie. He's being advertised. Well, they haven't done the trailer yet, but in kind of like the production, they've been being like, "Yo, Keaton's back."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jeez, DC do not matter at all, do they, bro?
To be fair, that does sound kind of cool. You know.
That's like Marvel already did it, man.
Well, yeah,
Well-
but like it's that's the only other superhero it would work for, you know, because you can't do Superman because
the-
they were all shit, you know.
I think
but,
Flash originated multiverse too. I could be wrong in saying that, but
Yeah, that's kind of his thing, isn't it?
yeah, the Flash like multiverse. It kind of like
I have
stems
no idea. I don't read those comics at all.
from that.
I don't know any. My knowledge of Marvel is very limited. Jeez, I know fucking nothing about DC. Justice League and all that shit. Haven't a fucking clue. I know that Marvel have a Civil War. I didn't know what the I don't know what happened in it, but I know that happened.
Aquaman has octopus playing drums. That's pretty sick. We're getting a new Aquaman this year too. I'm so stoked for it. I remember when that Aquaman movie came out in 2018. I said with my chest that Jason Momoa is the new Kurt Russell, and he's yet to prove me right. He kind of did it in Dune, actually. He gave me Kurt Russell vibes in Dune.
Dune, yeah.
Duncan, Idaho,
Yeah.
the boy.
Yeah, but he's not gonna.
You know,
You can keep living on that dream, but I don't think it's gonna happen. What's the next movie we're watching? Batman Returns.
Batman Returns, yeah.
best
And
of
then-
the 4.
And then Forever, and then
Forever.
Batman and Robin. But then
Yeah.
we're doing Batman Returns next week, and then Batman and Robin and Forever the week after, isn't it?
No, we're
'Cause-
gonna do the Batman and Robin together.
Together. Oh yeah, for a bit of contrast.
Yeah.
Bit of contrast.
Compass, contraire, text. It's leaving Sir English, bro. Yeah. Leaving Sir English.
We're back from the break
We're back from the break once again.
again.
For the second time, we're back from the break. Let's talk about some wrestling, boys.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's talk about some David Arquette. Let's talk about some Ready to Rumble, our first listener recommended film. Because we're not doing our recommended film this time. We're
No,
going to do
that's
our
next week.
listeners' recommended film.
Is this the first?
This is the first. Well, no, because this is the first time where we were going to do a recommended film, and instead we did the guest. So we're not going to talk about Network. Network is next week.
Yeah.
So we slotted in your films.
Push the boat out.
And Ready to Rumble's the first.
Yes, Ready to Rumble is the first.
Set the bar pretty high with that.
Yeah. In terms of interest, yeah.
Absolutely.
For me personally, not about Mark.
I know, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know much about this. I'm a complete wrestling agnostic. I don't know.
I don't
what's happening.
believe.
I don't. I think I do believe
Mm.
after what I've seen these past few days.
Where's your beliefs lie on David Arquette prior to this double bill?
My beliefs. I only really know this guy from Scream, but I know his name very well because like he was one of those big actors, or was he? Would you even say he's a big actor in the 90s? He was coming up. It seemed like he was coming up.
He had one big role.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
like you know, everyone kind of knows him, but like he's very peripheral.
Yeah.
You know, but
He doesn't seem to understand who he is,
You
like
see- yeah, he's
from the
having
documentary.
a lot of crises. Yeah, but that's in the documentary. Yeah, but Ready to Rumble, it was a rip roaring good ride.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in my opinion. But
WCW.
yeah,
you know?
yeah. There's a lot of context there that I just didn't get. That I wasn't aware of, but I was just along for the ride.
Mm.
You know.
Dave, do you want to explain it?
Okay, so yeah, WWE, they're top of the game in the kind of 80s onwards to early 90s. And like the kind of peak of wrestling after like all your Hulk Hogan's and your Ultimate Warriors, kind of like all the gimmick kind of wrestlers, was they were dying down. So WCW were like, okay, we're going to do our own thing. We're going to focus more on the in-ring spectacle and just make good content, which they did. And over time, they were topping the ratings. Both their shows went out on a Monday. So they had WWE's Monday Night Raw against WCW's Nitro. So WWE, they weren't really doing anything, so they decided, have you ever heard of the Attitude Era?
No.
You've never heard of the Attitude Era?
No.
That's
Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock,
Well, I've heard of all
Mick
them, but I
Foley,
don't know.
Undertaker.
I've never heard of the Attitude Era.
They all emerged at the same time, where WWE were like, we're going to get in your face and just do really
We're going to
good.
be like punk.
Yeah.
As punk as redneck wrestling could be.
Yeah.
And it worked. So
Ah.
WWE start to take over again. They get Mike Tyson in, and that's the first time they overtaken the ratings after WCW took
Mike,
over.
I've never
Mike
heard
Tyson.
that Mike Tyson was in WWE.
Yeah.
He was a
He's
Shawn
in
Michaels.
AEW recently.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Him and Chris Jericho.
What a guy.
Yeah, so then the Attitude Era takes over, and it gets to the point where this is fast forwarding a lot. We're fast forwarding past Ready to Rumble here. So WWE are on top, and they buy WCW.
Oh, okay. So that's why you don't hear from them anymore.
Yeah.
So it was WWF. They weren't WWE.
yeah.
World Wrestling Federation.
So then they
Yeah.
rebranded
The
World,
panda thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
and then they rebranded the World Wrestling Entertainment. And
Mm.
this is kind of not really important to the movies we're talking about, but imagine that you made something like you made a counter business that beat the OGs, and then the OGs, they got back to where they were, and they invest in you. They're going to give you a chance, and then they just shit on you.
They just took the piss. WWE like how shit WCW was.
Yeah.
But Ready to Rumble was, I would say, it's important because it is one of the moments, like outside of Ready to Rumble. Because of Ready to Rumble, David Arquette went on to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, which was a very prestigious award. And like as you saw from the documentary, people were pissed. People are still pissed over that. And Ready to Rumble is the reason why that happened.
It was all just a promotional.
It was a whole
stunt
promotion.
for Ready to Rumble,
Yes.
which is like a weird thing to kind of
Because-
hinge your entire business on a film that isn't, terribly good.
It is. This one is dog shit. This film is so bad.
Yeah.
This film takes. Who is this film for? Because I was watching this and I was like, well, it's taking the piss out of wrestling fans because everyone in this is like, wrestling isn't real. Except for the two dudes that believe that it's real. And like,
They're idiots.
and they're idiots, but the film also. The film's very weird because like wrestling's fake, obviously, but the film keeps flip-flopping back and forth between if wrestling is real and if it's fake, because like the cage match was depicted as a shoot, like that's like this is a real fight that's happening, but they're doing wrestling moves. Like they're doing moves that are only possible when the other person is cooperating with you and letting you do it.
yeah.
For context on the story, you have David Arquette and his best friend. I don't have a clue who his friend is.
Johnny McGoodlovin.
Sean and what's his name? What's the other guy's name? Fucking who's David Arquette? Yeah, David Arquette and Sean, played by Scott Caan, who was kind of improved. He had a career after this.
Did he?
Well, he's in Hawaii Five-0 and multiple other films.
He did a few things.
Yeah. He's quite big,
His letterbox is more impressive than David Arquette's.
Oh, by a mile, yeah.
Like if you just take out Scream,
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
Baron.
and like David Arquette clearly didn't enjoy the effect that Scream had on his career
Wow.
either. But Yeah, but fucking, what is the most 2000s film I think I've ever seen? And like this came out 2000.
Yeah, there's concentrated 2000s energy in this film, you know. It's
in all the wrong ways.
Unobtainium of 2000s, you know.
What do you think was the most 2000s bit in the movie? For me, it's when at the start of the movie, David Arquette pulls the money out of his butt. That felt like a very 2000s thing.
Or when he had his finger up.
Yeah, it's like, why does it look like you get your finger up your butt? Because I do.
Like, yeah. So the two buddies, they're like beloved wrestler Jimmy the King, who, for the record, he was a shit wrestler.
He's a terrible wrestler. He wasn't a real wrestler either, though, was he?
But no, it was just this. The actor's in.
He's in loads of stuff.
He's in prestige movies now.
Yeah. So just to roll it back for a second, the most 2000s moment in the film for me is when a cop pulls up and just sexually assaults this kid, this teenager, and then it turns out to be the teenager's best mate's dad. And I was like, yeah, that's 2000s energy right there.
Oh jeez, thankfully I missed that part.
I don't remember that.
That's at the very start of the film. That is how we are introduced to his dad. Is that he's giving him a pat down and he just grabs his balls and he's like, what are these?
Yeah, what are these? Like, what do you think? What are you?
It's
his best mate's dad, and he's like used to it at this stage. Like, yeah, they're my balls.
I thought that was a funny joke, though. You know, his response was funny. Nothing else was funny.
Liam loves 2000s energy.
Well, I enjoy a good 2000s movie, but they're just like, it was kind of 2000s in all the wrong ways. It was kind of like Bill and Ted, but bad.
It's wrestling. That's why. It was Attitude Era wrestling, which is that. You know, you look back at the Attitude Era, that's a poor era in terms of actual wrestling. You know, they had Vince McMahon strip down a girl, one of the divas at the time, not even women's wrestlers, divas, and had her stripped down and bark like a dog. It's not a great time in terms of culture, and this film is that as well.
I think it's notable that the film was shot on location in Lusk. You see it's set in Lusk.
So that's so funny. I was like, there's Neil,
there's Aaron.
Yeah,
you know?
There's the boys.
Apparently they hired most of the actors from around the area, you know, invested in the local scene. But yeah, it kind of reflects poorly on Fingal, Fingal County Dublin. But pure 2000s energy throughout the film. Even like the whole, it's like it's kind of like revolving around this the sewage joke. The fact that they're like
such a bad
they're
joke.
Just like that's a huge. That's like it comes up in the film so many times. Like, oh yeah, we like deal with sewage and stuff like that. It's like, oh, his fingers up his bum. It's like,
isn't shit funny?
Yeah. That's all the joke amounts to. But it just comes back up again. To be honest, it is a fun film. It's a fun film.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's a fun film.
It is fun because it's like
it's shit.
It's real, but it's like enjoyably bad.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially when you're watching this, and like I think for myself, I was like, this is what killed. This is one of the things that killed the wrestling company.
Yeah.
Like this is what you died for.
So, when I was picking this movie, one of the things I really wanted to do was to make sure like I didn't have kind of trademark Paro movie. Well, let's call it
Paro movie. There's a canon there.
Kind of like one of your main themes, kind of the ones that you wouldn't want to watch with your parents. Tentacles normally involved or shit like that.
Yeah, stuff like fucking Crash.
Or POV vagina shots.
Yeah. While on
the works.
Ready to Rumble on the surface doesn't have any, in fairness. But in this movie, you're a big Scream fan.
Scream.
Yeah.
I like Scream, yeah.
Yeah. Well, David Arquette is in Scream. And there's another actor in this movie who was also in Scream. Did you know that?
No.
David Arquette's love interest is played by Rose McGowan.
Is she in Scream?
She plays David Arquette's sister in Scream.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. The blonde-haired Sydney's best friend.
Nice.
Yeah. To be fair, she doesn't look like Rose McGowan. Is she changed or something like that?
I don't know.
She actually looks different. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
So I just thought when I realized
that's like a Shrek the Third or Shrek 2, where it's like Prince Charming above the bed. Then Prince Charming turns out to be not Prince Charming. Oh, King Arthur.
Yeah.
You know, it turns out to be Justin Timberlake or whatever.
But like, it's so weird just seeing like their brother, and like he's their older brother. He's like Deputy Dewey, and he's the goofy older brother. And now
there's a big age gap there. Yeah.
yeah. So I was watching, I was like, oh no, you can't do that, please.
Yeah, because I was watching this like. David Arquette is old in this film as well. Like he's like in his late 20s. I feel like.
If it was made,
no, but like not as he's meant to be playing like a fucking teenager. I feel like
he's 30 at least, because he's 50 now. And this movie, did this movie come out 20 years ago or?
Yeah, 20 years ago.
2000,
yeah. He's 30. He's 30.
Are they not more of a Dumb and Dumber kind of thing where they're like old people?
I felt like they were meant to be really.
They're like grown children.
But he's like.
They're man children.
I don't feel like that's the case.
I got that impression.
I didn't get that.
Well, like how do they have a job is at a sewage company? Like,
but he's also studying for
because
top exams.
Yeah.
Kind of like college almost.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know if that's meant to be a joke or not though, because they never really they never talk about what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Second movie as well, where David Arquette dresses up as a cop.
Yeah.
Where's this?
This film is so pro cop.
It's pretty
the law.
This film is so pro cop. I was watching this and I was like, he comes from a family of cops and like he's meant to be a good guy, so it's like, oh, not all cops. But then at the end, it's like the cops redeem themselves, and then his whole gimmick is that he's a cop and he's like the best wrestler. And it's like,
yeah, I didn't understand how they tried
to
try to give the father an out, even though like he should have played the classic role of like, Gordy, you don't follow your dreams, and then he does follow his dreams, and the dad's like,
Yeah.
But instead he's like, yeah, go on.
Yeah.
He's like, go on, Gordy.
And he understands
out of
wrestling. No, because he understands wrestling.
Does he?
That's what happens. He watches wrestling, his third eye opens, and he understands like, I'm cool with this. This is art.
yeah.
It's as equally pro cop as it is sexist.
Yeah. That fucking, the scene where Jimmy King is going out, like they're all standing around, they're cheering. It's like, Jimmy King, and he's going into the fucking bus to drive off.
Yeah.
I am, and this is not hyperbole at all. That is the worst scene I have ever seen in a film.
Oh, that's harsh.
Harsh. In terms of like major film, like nothing like fucking.
This is a $25 million budget. A whole company behind it. Right?
That is one of the worst scenes I've ever seen. Because, like, Jimmy King's coming out, this actor, I was watching, I was like, this film is terrible acting. That's when it hit me. Because it's like, he's coming out and he looks like he does not give a fuck what is happening. And then you got fucking the blonde haired dude. What's his name?
Hawaii 5-0 guy.
Oh, yeah, Sean. He's just more creepy than fucking David Arquette in this film. Is he?
I know, he just gives off weird vibes throughout the entire film.
It's just the vibe.
What
was it?
No, I was gonna ask you, but I don't understand what's the scene in question.
Just didn't trust him, and then what happens? He fucking walks over to the girl that like had a crush on him at the start, and he's just like, nah, he just wanted the girl that he had a crush on. He's like, you know what, I've understand that like me and you should get together, and they instantly fuck. And I was like, there was absolutely no build up to that whatsoever.
Well, because she wanted to ride it.
What?
She initiated it.
Yeah, but there was no build up to it whatsoever. Like there's meant to be like a character art there. Like he learned something. He didn't go for the girl that wasn't into wrestling or wasn't into the things that he wanted. He went for the girl that was into the same things as he was into. But at no stage in the film was that ever a character motivation at all.
I think we were watching different. She gave him a Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt.
I'm not saying she wasn't into him. I'm saying his realization to get into her was not earned.
I don't like the butt shot that shortly followed.
Yeah.
He goes
out.
So
unneeded.
Yeah, a lot of full ass.
Yeah, full ass, just all hanging out.
Nice.
Dire scene. It was dog shit.
Sure, look, you can't win them all.
At that stage, the film was a 1 star. But then the triple cage match happened, and it bumped it up to a 2.
I didn't know that was a thing. I never heard of it.
It happened afterwards. They tried that in real life.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought that was
WCW tried it.
I thought that was a parody.
That's what he loses. I could be wrong on this, but I think he loses his belt in a triple cage match.
That is, like, why would you put someone like that has no wrestling experience at all into a triple cage match?
It also didn't make much sense to me, like, so it literally is 3 cages.
Yeah, it's 3 cages on top of each other.
But
it's like a pyramid.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fun to watch.
No, shit. It looked fucking. And like I was when I was watching it.
You're watching with your family.
Yeah, I was watching with my family.
You made your family watch?
No, I was watching myself. When he fucking body slams, fucking Diamond Dallas. What the fuck is his name?
Diamond Dallas Page.
He fucking body slams him through 3 layers of the cage. Would have absolutely killed the man. Yeah, this is where it's like this is, but the film is like, no, this is a real fight, but it's just in a wrestling match.
Yeah, that would have killed him. Did he not die though?
No, he was limping off. And he was like, "Fair enough, Jimmy Kidd."
It's really funny watching Diamond Dallas Page be really evil, because that man's one of the sweetest men in all of the
He's
world.
a yoga instructor now.
But he helped. There's a separate wrestling documentary. I don't know the name of it, but it's based off. You heard of Jake the Snake Roberts?
No, unfortunately not.
He's like 80s wrestler, and he carries this giant python into the ring. That was the whole thing. But it became a severe alcoholic, and Diamond Dallas Page, who's the bad guy in this, is like helped him get sober, taught him yoga and shit. But he was like, it wasn't just the yoga, but great dude, just a great guy.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude in the documentary as well.
Yeah, he's great in the documentary.
Which we also watched.
He seems sound.
You cannot kill David Arquette.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. Obviously not. Jeez, he
came close
fucking
enough.
died.
He came close enough, I'll tell you that. Yeah, this was a 2020 documentary.
Yes.
Who was it by?
Not important.
Not important.
It doesn't really matter.
It's
about
the David Arquette experience.
It's about David Arquette.
By David Arquette.
By David Arquette.
It's directed by some name, but that guy's just a plant.
Yeah, produced by his wife. It's got all the guest stars. The stars are out tonight. You know, it's like,
can you feel the love tonight?
It's like, it's star studded. I had never heard of this until Liam recommended it, and I have to say I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good.
Nice.
It's like a premium documentary.
Great narrative.
Great narrative. Yeah, it's really, really well done. And like, you know, the way you see like a Netflix special done like really technically, competently, but it's also like the narrative itself, the story itself is wild. Absolutely wild, you know. Because I totally wrestling, you know,
it's not your sphere.
Yeah, it's not my sphere at all. And I just come off Ready to Rumble, so I didn't actually know the story behind it. And then watching the documentary as a supplement, it just like expands the mind. You
Your
know?
third eye opened.
My third eye opened. I was like, what is going on? You know, it's mad.
Because it does, like, because it was a great double feature for that reason. Because, like, I knew a lot about it, but I never knew what David Arquette's opinion on it was. And then, like, him being like, yeah, I didn't really want to do it. I was just like, oh, no. You poor, poor man.
Not actually said in the documentary what happens straight after he wins the belt. All the money he was paid, David Arquette wouldn't accept the money because he felt so disgusted that he won the belt. So he donated all his earnings from that run in WCW to the families of all these like deceased wrestlers who didn't really get any money. Like you know, Bret the Hitman Hart, his brother died in like the 90s, and he I think is Luke Hart, is that right?
Owen Hart.
Yeah, Owen Hart. And yeah, there's like 5 dead wrestlers he like split his earnings in because they were like, nah, I want them to get the money.
Yeah.
Great dude. Great
Yeah.
Sound guy. He got done dirty.
He got fucking done dirty. He did not deserve what happened to him. I feel so bad for him. But at the same time, like, you weren't really doing anything anyways. Like, you weren't going anywhere.
My nitpick
Harsh.
with the documentary is at the very start, well, not a nitpick, but it's more, you know, it's his wife talking about him, trying to hype him up. But when it's like, you gotta remember, David Arquette's like regarding it, it's just like a magazine cover with like Leonardo DiCaprio, Will Smith.
It's like no one remembers that.
And they're
He's
like,
on the 3rd page.
But she goes, all these people made classics. He would have done it if it wasn't for this. I was like, oh, come on.
No,
it's David
it
Arquette.
wasn't.
That's a reach.
Yeah.
It was
That
a
is
reach.
a reach.
He's a nice guy, but he's not.
Yeah.
Come on, like he's on the same cover as Leonardo DiCaprio and Matthew McConaughey. Like 2 of the most like well-regarded actors, like of all time, more or less. And he's like, David Arquette could have been like that. Nah. Come on, like I like David Arquette, but come on, let's be more realistic here.
Really good insight as well from Courtney Cox at the start of it, once he says because they were married for years, and it's something like they met on Scream 1, fell in love in Scream 2, got married in Scream 3, and hated each other in Scream 4. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing as well. The way that they talk about Scream is he kind of makes it sound like Ready to Rumble and all this stuff happened before Scream, and because like they kind of reference that Scream came out before this, like 4 years beforehand.
I think. I don't know if Scream 3 comes out before Ready to Rumble or just after.
But there's two.
Two are out for definite.
The two main
and
ones,
they're talking about it like, oh, and then it Scream, and people started thinking I was stupid. It's like, you didn't just do Scream, you did 2 Screams, and you did also pick this. Like, you're a goofy actor at this stage. You did 2 Scream films. That's
to be
on
fair,
you.
if you'd picked a better film, something more serious, you know, like obviously it did typecast him to an extent.
If Matthew McConaughey could bounce back from Texas Chainsaw: The Next Generation,
Exactly.
like Scream is a well-regarded horror film, and you could have bounced back from that pretty fucking easily.
I think it's one of those things. So, like at the time, like I say now, he looks at Scream in high regards, but it's kind of like the whole Matthew Broderick thing. Like he's always going to be Ferris Bueller. David Arquette's always going to be Dewey. So, he just. I think part of the reason he wanted to go back to wrestling is because he felt so unfulfilled in acting that he was like, I need to do something completely different and find that fulfillment.
So why did he pick the film where he turns into a cop at the end of it, like in Scream? Why did he pick that film?
Well, I was listening to a podcast with him last week, and he's just a huge wrestling fan, and it's something he always really liked. But I think he thought he could do it good, and he kind of shows in the movie that he can do it good.
He is a good wrestler.
He gets so much. Imagine knowing that you could be good at something, but being put in a scenario that you're going to be the most hated person in that craft. You're always going to be viewed as a laughing stock for 2 decades, and he's like, nah, I gotta do it. I gotta prove it to myself.
Yeah, the ball is on him to go at it again after, because like he'd done that he did, because the whole thing
When
where
he's world champion.
he was world champion as a stunt for this film, which was terrible. No one watched. You know, it was forgotten.
Do you think people would have cared, like, been okay with it a little bit more if Ready to Rumble wasn't a shit film?
No.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
I think wrestling fans wouldn't have changed their look, but like everyone else, like it would have propelled his career.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have given as much of a shit if wrestling fans didn't like him. If like he was successful in acting, but it killed his acting career, and also killed his wrestling career.
Yeah.
So like, you know,
the thing about it is too that like you hear him being world champion, you probably think like he must have been world champion for a couple of months. It was 2 weeks of his life killed his career.
Yeah, 2 weeks. He sacrificed it all for 2 weeks.
I was doing some research into it, kind of wondering what happened after he became champion in those 2 weeks. So he has, I think he has 2 matches in the span of that, and he wins both of them. But the only other thing he had to do was, it's actually shown in the documentary where Kurt Russell's there, and he tells Kurt Russell he's the champion. And then Kurt Russell goes, "You're a wrestler," and David Arquette starts running after him with a chair. Yeah, and it's just like that's literally all he did.
Yeah,
then he lost it.
Oh, that fucking because I didn't think that like so the documentary is him trying to prove that he can wrestle. Like that's this whole thing. I'm gonna try and prove myself. I'm trying to redeem myself in the eyes of wrestling fans that I'm not this Hollywood dickhead that came in and just won the title.
He starts at baseline 0 as well.
Yeah,
he's like overweight, smokes, drinks.
The ketamine bit.
Nah, that's the funniest part of the film.
So fucking funny. I can't believe that.
The film is like half serious, but it's also like it's
it
really
knows what it is.
It's really goofy, like because like he's starting out with like the backstory. It's kind of like tragic. It is kind of like Poe faced, but then like and it's talking about it's in the context of his depression and stuff, and clearly he struggles with like mental problems. But like it's just a sequence of him like getting ketamine infusions, and like he just starts like it's like a scene out of a comedy. He just starts getting up and shouting, and they're like, "Man, David, calm down, calm down."
It's like climax.
Yeah. And he's just sitting there like just on ketamine, like it's so funny.
I think he's revealed recently that he has severe ADD, So
Yeah.
Hey, man, you could tell from this documentary as well.
yeah, it's nuts. What actually, someone I'm kind of interested for your take on, Mark, is what did you think of his first wrestling show? It's called, it's like Backyard Wrestling or
Backyard wrestling, man. That was
something.
The one with the yokels out in the hills.
Yeah.
This is the lowest of the
they kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah, I thought he was
Jesus.
like properly getting. He kind of was, I suppose.
He
He got-
was,
he got
man.
better.
They were proper kicking the shit out of him.
Yeah, because like that's like the first, I don't know, set piece in the film. Because like he's gotten a call from some random promoter who's like promising like a kind of top billing in some wrestling show out in like the fucking back hills of nowhere, or on like on the other side of the country. And so he like this, he commits to it. He's like, I'm going to do this. This is the start of my journey. And he gets there. And he says, he's like, yeah, I wasn't expecting thousands of people, but there's literally no one here. It's in the back of someone's garden.
Yeah.
And it's just like a load of lads. Those are like amateur enthusiasts sitting around, like half naked, and they're all wrestlers. All the people there are wrestlers.
Yeah.
And they're just
They're all
wrestling
waiting
each
to take
other.
turns.
And he doesn't even get paid. And it's like, and he just gets the shit kicked out of him.
He gets the fucking piss kicked out of him,
Yeah, it's
man.
hilarious.
when people like make fun of wrestling and I see something like that, I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. Like their main guy with the big long hair, he's like, he's like, you think you can come into my yard? And he's just like,
Dude, I guess they're throwing fucking flares and stuff like that. Like,
big beer belly
Yeah.
on him, and
Yeah.
just like there's no athleticism at all in what they're doing. There's
Yeah.
oh,
fucking-
jeez, no, they're just hitting each
they're
other.
knocking lumps.
Yeah, they're just battering each other. It's like,
And there you can sort of tell. I kind of wondered in that, like a lot of wrestling, obviously it's predetermined, but I really wish they kind of asked how much of that did he know was going to happen, because when you're watching it,
Yeah.
he kind of looked like he was done after he got the first, like they call it a stiff, is it a stiff shot?
stiff shot.
Yeah, so that's when you actually punch, pull your punch.
He
And
just
the first
fucking
one,
he just
first one hits,
yeah.
and then they put out the thumbtacks, which is reserved for like, you don't see many thumbtacks in wrestling. Like there's no faking that. It's someone getting body slammed into a pile of
Yeah,
Tax.
Yeah, like you're not faking that. Like,
and this is the guy who went from like a little promo wrestler.
Yeah.
And he just
Yeah.
like, fuck's
There's
sake.
no experience at all. Like,
but I mean, like, and then they just pick him up and he gets speared by the biggest dude there, and he doesn't get pinned. He gets up and he just walks out. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm gonna get fucking hurt doing this."
yeah, like they couldn't have planned that.
Oh
Because
no, they just
were
kicked the shit out
the
of
people
him.
there were just like bare knuckle boxing, basically, you know. And like even the ring collapsed at one point.
Yeah.
they had no support underneath.
Yeah,
it.
they missed the pipe or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
So it never collapsed for the past few games. It's like
Fucking
build a
hell.
proper ring.
Would you
like.
ever take part in something like that?
No way, man.
No
I would
way.
look at me. I would get creamed. It'd be over. Like David Arquette is like, you know, the transformation. To be fair to him, the transformation over
But
the course of the
once
film.
he actually does like actual wrestling, the fucking bit in Mexico and Tijuana, that was so heartwarming. I love
Yeah,
that bit.
that
Like,
was great.
I was like,
That was great.
and like him actually learning how to properly wrestle. Like he meets the guys beforehand, the like American wrestlers, and it's like, oh no, yeah, he's actually learning. And like, this isn't the fucking getting the shit kicked out of you in someone's backyard like
Yeah.
like last time. It's something more legit.
Yeah, the luchadores.
Oh, man, that was the best
The
bit.
skill involved
This-
in that is insane. You know,
the road wrestling. when
Yeah,
they're
That was
like,
unreal,
Yeah.
that was
man.
incredible. You know,
That's actually some of the best wrestling I've ever seen.
And like even then, like even though David Arquette's just starring, you see like this guy, he does this thing where in the middle of the road. So the thing is, like the red lights come and they fight in like the 2 minutes before the light turns green again, and then they try like get tips from those watching in the cars, and he climbs up a ladder and jumps off it.
And, like,
Yeah.
not even that, like he like tries them beforehand, gets the shit kicked out of him, and your man's like, I thought you said this guy was cool to the luchadors that brought him over, and like he doesn't get any money, and then this next time around, like I don't believe that's how it actually
Yeah.
played out, but like in terms of the narrative, it's perfect. Like, and
Yeah.
he like does a great routine and gets loads of tips and stuff
because
like
after that, like he seems like his confidence just shot up, and he's like, he seems like he can actually, has the fundamentals anyway, and he can't. Because before that, it's just like. It's like any random dad just like like walking into a wrestling
Yeah.
ring and just like getting the shit kicked out of him.
Like watching him do the Hurricanrana, I was like, only when I saw him do, because you watch wrestling and you're like,
What's the hurricane?
you know the bit where he like runs up and he jumps and he gets his legs around the person's head and he throws them to the ground
Oh right, yeah.
as he's falling.
yeah.
Like you watch like professional wrestlers doing that and you're like, that looks easy. Then I watched David Arquette try to do. I'm like, No, that would be really hard. Like he was like left leg up at your left arm. He's like, yeah. I was like, how the fuck would you do that? I can imagine jumping like that to get that.
I think what makes this, like, sets it apart from your normal sports documentary, which is always like just like the rise and then being the underdog, it's just how lovable Arquette is. And the bit that sticks out to my mind is when his wife is telling the story of how he met his best friend. It was like he was going to the Super Bowl as a fan, and he saw someone wearing, I think it was a Sandy Hook First Responders t-shirt, and I was like, are you going to the game? And it was like, no. I was like, oh, come with me. And they've been best friends since. So like, what a good dude.
A legend. Like, have to try that at the Super Bowl one times.
David Arquette does love cops. Sorry, David Arquette absolutely loves cops then.
He must.
He must love cops.
Cops?
He's a cop in Scream. He's a cop in Ready to Rumble. He's best mates with a cop.
Yeah.
Is he a cop? I thought he was a first responder.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. First
First
responder.
aid.
First aid. Not the same
Well,
thing.
we'll try that anyway as well.
Yeah, that's not
Try
the same
them
thing. Never mind. Then he, like, right, when he actually gets into proper like pro wrestling in like the NWA or whatever fucking promotion that was, and he's doing it in front of his family, he's actually doing pretty good. And then he gets the absolute piss kicked out of him.
Which
Jesus, he got the shit. Nick Gage kicked the fucking shit out of him. He stabs him in the neck.
Yeah, that was intense. That was really intense. Because like, you could tell. Because like my impression as someone who doesn't know anything about wrestling is that it was just a kind of like enhanced ballet where there was no actual violence involved. But there is obviously a lot of violence, and like there is a lot of a huge physical toll to it. But like watching that match and like following along with the story and seeing, you know, sympathizing with the guy, knowing his story and stuff like that, and like seeing the punches that he's actually getting and seeing that he's actually taking physical damage, and then seeing that his throat has been slit nearly, and that he, like, the moment he realizes, it's like, it's like, so dramatic.
He gets up and he's like contemplating on like actually wailing on like turning this into an actual fight for a second.
Yeah, he's half thinking like, well, I just leave now. And then he does leave, but then he comes back. Yeah. He's like, let's just finish this. Yeah,
that's the rule. Always finish a wrestling match.
But like, he could have died. Like,
he could have died. He's like, I gotta do it.
He could have died.
The person who drives him to the hospital, or the person sitting beside him, is it Luke Perry?
Luke Perry.
He's from...
He's in Riverdale, isn't he?
Riverdale, and was it 90210, his big one? I think
he's in something big, because I've heard of Luke Perry, but I don't know what he's in.
Yeah, and then his son, Jungle Boy's a wrestler, who actually, since
Jack
the
Perry
documentary has come out, he's be one of the top wrestlers in AEW. He's
really?
He's like a big star. He's tag champ at the moment.
He's huge.
That's class.
Yeah.
And he's like there's like a thing in AEW called like the 4 Pillars, and which is all like the really young wrestlers, like they're all below 30, and Jungle Boy is one of the 4 Pillars.
I think he's younger than us. Is he?
He's 24.
Oh, is he 24?
24, 25.
Ah, cool.
Like he's mad young.
We have time, guys. We have time.
Yeah. I'm in Dave Arquette's position at the start of this film.
But the whole documentary it's dedicated in memory of Luke Perry, which I thought was really sweet. I actually realized that him and David Arquette were best friends.
Best buds.
And just a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Wholesome.
Legend.
Wholesome.
Absolute legend.
But did you know about David Arquette? I've come here with 2 David Arquette facts, range from one I think you might know to one I don't know if you know. The first one being that he is a registered...
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, pause. No. I don't want to hear that.
He's a registered Bob Ross instructor. So he is professionally able to paint to the same standard that Bob Ross does. So he did, when they were making the new Scream, he would like teach the cast kind of like how Bob Ross would have. He's gone to school, he's licensed for it.
Okay, David Arquette is just someone that has infinite amount of money and just picks up hobbies and then just masters it and then just drops it. Because he's doing puppetry in this, and it's like, I'm going to wrestle, and they're showing all this other shit that he does. Man, to be fucking minted and have no... Because he's there saying like, oh, I got no work. But you clearly have infinite amount of money.
Well, his infinite amount of money comes into fact number 2, which is that he bought the restaurant chain, I think it's called Bobo's in America. So basically, he's mad into clowns. He loves.
Man, he's into everything
He
apparently.
loves clowns. Actually, no. I'll tell the story first. I come proud from.
Is this like a Wahlburger type of thing?
No. So basically, Bobo's was like, they originated the restaurant clown thing before Ronald McDonald. So
Bobo the clown.
Bobo the clown. Yeah.
Oh my
Bobo
god.
the clown. So Bobo the clown was like this huge thing in America, and McDonald's were obviously they were still number one, but they saw this up and comer and they're like,
Can't beat Ronald.
yeah, we'll do a clown. So they made Ronald. So David Arquette recently bought Bobo's and is trying to bring them back to where they are. But not only has he done this, but he is learning to be a clown. And I've come propped with a photo.
Well, that is David Arquette as a clown.
That is David Arquette as a clown.
Yes.
Jesus fucking
So-
Christ.
Wasn't his dad a clown? Wasn't there like there's like a
There's clownage in that family.
there's a few yeah, there's a lot of clownery in there. There's a few
clowns in that family.
clowns. But there's a few clips at the start of the film where it's like family photos of the Arquettes, and the dad and the ma are dressed up as clowns.
There you go.
You're killing me here.
But yeah, he's a good dude. Have either of you seen Scream 5?
The new Scream, no.
No, not
I've
yet.
heard of people talk about it.
I've heard it's good.
Man, I've heard it's the same kind of fucking.
It's great.
But I've
It's
heard it's
great.
the same kind of theme that's going around at the moment. The same as Matrix Resurrections, where it's like, and like fucking Halloween Kills, and what I think Texas Chainsaw, which I know that we said we are going to embargo that. It's out this
Wait.
Friday though.
Is it?
It's out this Friday.
Oh,
We can watch it together, bro.
let's do it.
We should do this.
Let's do it.
It's about it's like reflecting back on itself.
Yeah,
It's like commentating on what Scream was, but Scream was a commentary to begin with.
I think it does it in a smart way,
Mm.
though. Like, I don't think it's like, you know, where Halloween, especially one that comes to mind, is literally just being like exact kind of run of. No, actually, no, not Halloween, because Halloween rebooted it good, but you kind of see it's like the old veteran coming back to take him on, and that's what the new Friday 13th's doing as well, and the new Terminator did it as well. I know it's not really horror, but the new Scream is taking the piss out of people that are doing that.
And the Matrix also did that as well, didn't it?
It is the weakest aspect of the movie, is when they go into the whole the original Scream is all about original horror movies, but they start going into requels and they're taking the piss out of the ones that are doing it, which I think it did it in quite a clever way. But the best thing,
Requels. Is that what
Yeah.
we're calling them?
that's what they called them.
Wait, requels?
Yeah,
Requels.
I think
Remake sequel.
Yeah,
I think that's a good kind of premise though to it.
it's really good. It really works.
Yeah.
But the best thing,
Requels are fucking sorry. Requel. I've never heard that phrase before. That's a great phrase.
I don't know if the new Scream made it, because they use it in that movie a lot, and I never heard it before that. Because you know how in the original Scream,
Is it Wes Craven again? No, he's
No,
dead,
he's
isn't
dead.
he?
It's the guys,
As soon as I said that, I was like, oh no, he's dead.
Beyond the
I was
grave.
literally watching a video about Hills of Eyes today.
the guys who did Ready or Not from 2 years ago. They did that, but you know how like your original Scream, you have Randy explaining the horror movies now.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's like Randy's nephew or niece or something. They're explaining requels, and they're actually really good. You know, you hear new cast, you're like, ugh, the new cast are really good. But the best thing about this movie, genuinely, is David Arquette, who gives.
He's
which-
back, is he?
Yeah, he's back, and honestly, performance of his career. And like, because you have
Knocks it out of the park.
you have him, you have Courtney Cox, and you have Nev Campbell all coming back. And with Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox, you're like, yeah, they're here for the paycheck. But with David Arquette, his performance in it is really good. It's really heartbreaking stuff. Like, I don't want to spoil
It's like
it.
this man's acting for his life.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil where
He's going
Dewey
to the
is
hell
going
of
for.
wrestling. He's like, please take me back. Don't
He's
let
like,
me
I
wrestle.
need work.
The way he plays,
Don't let me wrestle.
the way he plays Dewey is kind of like he's looking for his comeback in the same way that David Arquette is looking in the movie, and it's a really. It's
shit.
That's some
Yeah.
wrestling.
That's
That's some
gas.
wrestling
I-
fucking thinking right there.
I don't know, like, no matter what anyone thinks of Scream, whether it holds up to the originals, it's the best Scream sequel there is, I think. It's still not as good as one, but it's the best out of all the
The Scream
sequels.
2 was
That's not. But again, that's not a high.
It's not a high bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first one that I would say is a great movie out of the sequels.
Like I
see
guarantee you, it's the worst thing I can say about this Texas Chainsaw film that's coming out this weekend There's
seen it.
fucking no way it's gonna be the best sequel. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna be the worst
Well, the
sequel.
bar is very low.
The bar is very low.
So it's
but
on
it's
the
not.
floor.
It's not gonna even hit that.
Has
Yeah,
the girl
yeah.
from 8th grade though?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll see someone King.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
again,
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's not gonna be. It's gonna be shit. It's gonna be a bad movie.
Yeah.
I'm saying is what Scream for David Arquette. No matter what you think of the movie, which I think most people think it's great. David Arquette's performance, very good.
It justifies it.
Big Dave.
Absolutely, you can't
Big
kill him.
Dave.
Big
Big
Yark.
Dave justifies it. Will we move on to the news section?
Can I open a can? I'm scared to
You
make
can,
pick
of
it
course.
up.
Open a can.
That's
Make it
that's
pop.
the intro.
Make
Oh.
it pop.
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Liam, I believe you've seen one of the Oscar trailers. No, the
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
right, that's right.
The Super Bowl trailers. I'm merging the two news sections together there.
Trailers.
The Super Bowl trailers.
Yes, well, the only
Liam did our work for us, where he actually researches the news, whereas we just like, oh, what was about today?
yeah, well, there was only really one, to be honest. Like the Super Bowl of this year, it kind of felt like all the ads were for crypto. I don't know if you saw.
It's all
Yeah,
Bitcoins.
Larry David did a crypto ad.
Ah,
Oh,
yeah, I
jeez.
heard that,
Yeah, brutal. You know,
That's
your
grand.
dreams are dying. But the biggest one was Doctor Strange. So it has Sam Raimi, and it's the first time
Is this the one with Professor X?
yes, that's in the
Yeah,
trailer.
did you hear this, Mark?
Professor X. Wait, Patrick Stewart
Patrick
no.
Stewart
is in this.
is in this.
Spoiled it in the trailer.
Ah, no.
That's
That's grim, isn't it?
yeah.
That's a bit grim.
Like especially after Logan ended.
Yeah,
Like that's so
Mm.
good. But yeah, new Doctor Strange. You have Sam Raimi coming back to the superhero genre. He replaced Scott Derrickson, who did Sinister. He was attached to this, but he got let go.
got the boot,
He got the boot. But he did the first Doctor Strange, which was kind of mid. But
which is why
Yeah.
they didn't want them for this.
it's basically, if you've seen No Way Home, it's just Doctor Strange multiverse
Mhm.
shenanigans. And to be honest, I don't really like Doctor Strange as a character. I think Benedict Cumberbatch, I don't really like him that much. He reminds
Yeah, well,
me of
I've not.
Tumblr.
Kind of,
Yeah.
whatever.
Sherlock gifts like.
It's fine.
He's just like. It's
He's
like
mid.
all those like fucking all those like Eton trained fucking the people who were like sculpted to be actors from their time they were like 12. They're all like there's like a class of English actors, and they're all really good.
They're
but,
all
like,
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
they're all the same person. Yeah.
Being tipped to win the Oscar for Power of the Dog. I don't think he will personally.
I think Power of the Dog's gonna win Best Picture.
It's hands down going to win Best
Yeah.
Picture. There's no doubt in me that it does. Like absolutely, but
Dune just pulls it out of the bag, though.
I think
Dude.
if Dune or if Power of the Dog doesn't win, I have a sneaky feeling West Side Story could be an upset.
West Side Story.
I
think-
also, because I was saying this last week, I was like, because West Side Story is one of the biggest Oscar winners of all time. Could we see a repeat?
The only thing
I think Spielberg is winning Best Director.
it's no, he's not.
I guarantee
Jane
you.
Campion's winning Best Director.
Nah, calling it now.
Spielberg was the fifth choice nominee.
Calling it
No, way.
now.
No
He's
way.
already called it.
No,
I've
I know.
He's
called it.
already called it.
Jane Campion.
The
she's
odds
winning
already
it.
changed.
You're
I can see it here.
you're
Paddy
two.
Power.
What's that fucking old man? Fucking No Country for Old Men scene.
Anton Chigurh.
You're Anton Chigurh calling it. I'm calling it.
Call
No.
it. Call
No
it.
But yeah,
I'm
the
calling it, Anton. Spielberg for the win.
I think the thing about these Marvel kind of fucking trailers is like every Marvel fan will say it's the best trailer ever, and I am a Marvel fan. It's not the best trailer ever, and I'm not really that interested in this movie, to be honest. I'm kind of fatigued with the whole Marvel thing.
Well, well, hop on the bandwagon, bro.
I know,
We've been
I've
riding
heard
this for a while.
No, I'll still be there. I'll still be there opening day. You know, I have faith it will win me back. I haven't been impressed by a Marvel movie. Well, actually, I forgot Spider-Man just came out. I thought it was really good. But the ones before that, like Eternals, what's that one? Black Widow. Those
Yeah,
were
they were all
kinda
dog
shite.
shit, weren't they?
I like Shang-Chi. That was pretty cool.
That was alright.
Yeah, that's
It
pretty
was
cool.
a Marvel film.
Yeah, but I don't know. You talk to people like. I feel like movie trailers should be something that you should be able to go like in 5 years. I remember when this trailer dropped, and I feel like movie trailers in general, you don't really have those. Like I remember the trailer for that movie. Like if you remember, Dark Knight Rises was one comes up ahead. I remember when that dropped. I was like, oh,
Halloween Kills. I remember that.
Evil Dies Tonight.
Halloween 1, Godzilla,
Oh, the Godzilla one's
Godzilla one's sick.
Man of Steel, I remember them very, very well.
But you
Interstellar as well. And Force Awakens, I remember.
Yeah, Force
I liked all of
Awakens.
them.
Yeah.
What was the last one where you thought this is gonna be the big trailer? I think
The last one.
Midsummer had a good trailer, if I remember right.
I never, because I remember I remember going to see Hereditary, just being like, oh, it's a new horror film, heard it's pretty decent. Went to go see it, I was like, that was unreal. Then we're in fucking Vancouver, and you're like, oh yeah, fucking Ari Aster's new film is out, and I was like, he had a new film? Hadn't heard anything about it.
Yeah, there's not many good ones, you know.
Nah, definitely not. And I don't think this Doctor Strange one is great. Like, it's a Marvel trailer, you know, you got your action shots, you have your teases to the past, and they bring Patrick Stewart back, but they don't show his face, but you hear his voice, and it's Patrick Stewart. Like, you see the back of this bald guy and Patrick Stewart's voice, you're like, fucking hell.
Who is it?
Yeah, the kind of thing, like, it's kind of a sequel to or it's a follow-on from WandaVision as well, which could be interesting. I don't know, did either of you watch that?
No.
WandaVision was
Sorry, no.
WandaVision was good. WandaVision was a good show.
I barely watch Marvel films. I'm not watching a Marvel TV show.
Oh, there's
How long is that? I heard it had great reviews.
I think WandaVision had 8. I think I've watched all of the Marvel shows except Hawkeye, because I think I've watched an episode of Hawkeye. I was like, fuck that.
Hawkeye, like
Yeah.
who asked
wants
for
that?
that? No one ever asked.
Florence
for
Pugh's
that.
in it though.
Huh?
Yeah.
Florence Pugh's one of the main characters in it.
But she's in
I
Black
just-
Widow, like.
Yeah, but there's big actors attached to it.
That's embarrassing for them.
Yeah, but
It is, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Actually, while we're on the topic of Marvel, I don't know if you have seen this about the Netflix Marvel shows.
Yeah, they're gone, aren't they?
The license is running out at the end of the month, which kind of like, I feel like everyone always thought Netflix originals are safe from copyright. You know, like one of the fears when Netflix took off was that physical media is gonna sort of die out, and what happens when these originals might get taken away, or like, I don't know, some internet crash happens,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's no way of getting them back.
Some EMP.
I know they're gonna end up on Disney eventually, but it does raise the question of like, Netflix can lose the stuff that they've made, which is so
Yeah,
fucked.
that's
And,
mad.
like, there's
Did
Unless
they
they're
make
licensed.
them, or they just
they
like,
made them.
They're
buy the
Netflix
rights?
originals,
Yeah,
and they're
really.
gone.
They're-
They're no longer Netflix originals.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like it was the Netflix originals thing was always like kind of bullshit.
Yeah,
remember,
but like not when they were making them though.
Yeah.
Those ones.
First.
It's not like the films were like, oh, this one's doing well on the fucking independent scene. Let's snatch it up and say the Netflix original.
Yeah, but they're always like, remember Black Mirror was put up. I remember like we would have been exposed to Black Mirror when it first came out in Channel 4.
Yeah,
And then
that's another one of those examples though where
Yeah.
they just snatched it up.
Yeah.
yeah, but it hit it big in the US. They're like,
Oh.
oh, now it's a Netflix original. I was like, this is not a Netflix original. You know,
Mm.
I seen this 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
Nothing original about it, bro.
Yeah, but
But that just means they're going to show up on Disney Plus now.
Yeah, monopolization,
yeah, it's
monopolization.
kind of messed up.
Like Disney is so big that they're now taking shit from Netflix. that
They're gonna-
Netflix made.
They're gonna overtake them in subscribers inside 3 years,
Oh man,
If even.
yeah.
if even.
Wasn't this year the first year Netflix made a profit? I'm pretty sure
I don't know.
because they've like the
This
business
is
model.
last year, I think,
Yeah, yeah.
like 2021.
But like for years, yeah, up until like the last either last year or the year before that, they'd never made a single cent in profit because their business model is basically hinged entirely on the idea that all their revenue has to be reinvested into production and to buying rights for stuff, because they're like obviously constantly competing with other studios like Disney stuff who are taking their content off their platforms as streaming gets bigger. And at the same time, they're losing subscribers. The revenue's always going to be decreasing. Like they haven't gained subscribers, I think, in quite a while. Like
Yeah,
they hit a
but-
critical
yeah.
mass,
and like Disney Plus have increased their price recently as well.
and they can
I think
afford to do
Netflix
it. Yeah,
did as well, though. I think they both
Yeah,
did.
but Netflix don't have any fucking reason to. Netflix, because like at least like Disney originals are like Pixar films. They're Disney movies. They're fucking Marvel films now.
Yeah.
They're fucking Star Wars films. What is a Netflix original?
You're
They
saying
name a
this.
franchise.
You're saying this, but according to Netflix and Netflix alone in this belief that they had their, both in television and in film, they had their 2 most viewed things ever in the past 12 months. One being Squid Game, which was,
Yeah, which is huge.
which is fair.
huge, yeah.
But they claimed that Red Notice is their most viewed movie of all time. The one to Rock and Ryan Reynolds.
That's
Yeah.
just not
But
true.
do you know
I
how-
can kind of believe that, to be honest.
That's not true.
Do you know how their stats work? a view on Netflix is if you watch 2 minutes of anything. So if you watch 2 minutes of a 2.5 hour movie and they go, fuck this, by the time the opening credits come out, you just counted it that you watched it.
Yeah. So everyone was like, clicked onto Red Nose, was like, this is shit.
Yeah.
And like they counted every view.
Yeah, and they're like, this is the biggest. I think the one it was Bird
Do you know there's
Box?
2 more of those films coming
Bird
out?
Box, remember
Yeah.
Bird Box?
2 more of those films are coming out.
Yeah, they're doing back to back.
They're doing 2 more Red Notices.
Mm-hmm.
There's no demand for that.
No.
There's no
So they're doing
demand.
the Squid Game universe, as they said.
Are they?
Yeah, they said this is only the beginning of the Squid Game universe. Like, not everything else will be a universe.
Fucking hell.
That
That is grim. What Red Notices in the Squid Game universe?
No.
Oh, thank God.
It's like, what do you call it? You know the one at the start with the doll thing? That's
Oh,
looking at this
Jesus.
little rock trying to stay perfectly still. And
I was like, how the fuck did this happen?
Don't give them ideas. They're going to be listening.
his eyebrow is, he's trying not to do the eyebrow raise, and
yeah.
the nose was zooming in on it.
Oh my god.
I was like, Jesus, this is taking a dark turn. This is taking the world is worse off than I ever
Oh
imagined.
my god, yeah.
Red Notices in the Squid Game universe.
Yeah, the crossover. That's the multiverse. It's on the way.
Yeah,
It's
what
on
you
the way.
multiverse? You know,
Fuck that.
who cares? At the end of the day,
It was a good
like I
concept.
liked Spider-Man. Like I liked seeing the. Okay, right. My thing about No Way Home. It's an alright film. It's got one thing that I really really liked.
Toby.
Willem Dafoe.
Toby and Willem Dafoe,
Yeah.
and you know, fucking Rengi. What the fuck his name is?
Andrew.
No, fucking Doc Ock.
Alfred, he was shouting that, I thought.
Don't care. The character. The character. But fucking like I think it's very telling that the most prominence of Spider-Man villains are all Tobey Maguire.
Fact.
Yeah, you have
Fact.
a lizard guy.
I got a lizard and electric dude.
Yeah.
Cool.
Two shit villains.
At least they have their own villains. Tom Holland, you know, his villains haven't been.
Yeah,
Actually, no, that's
who
not
are his
true.
villains?
Michael Keaton's in the first one, he's good, and then Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, you got
Mysterio.
Mysterio.
Yeah, they're actually quite good. Actually,
Yeah.
I take that
They're
back.
not iconic.
Oh, yeah,
though,
Michael
man.
Keaton as
They're
well.
not iconic.
You can't really. I think it's really hard to get iconic in this day and age, just because everything's focused on nostalgia. You know, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Everything's
yeah.
so focused on tying into something, or like both those villains in Tom Holland's movies tie into Iron Man, and you can't get iconic just being like it's part of the universe. It always has
yeah,
been.
yeah.
I don't know the last like villain that you'd say like this is going to be an iconic villain outside, as you said, Javier Bardem, No Country for Old Men, but that's because it's Coen Brothers.
Yeah, Joker.
Joker.
Oh God, not Joker discourse. I can't do it again.
No, not Joker.
No,
like
the-
as in
the
fucking
Dark Knight, like.
Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger Joker.
no.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
No,
He's
no,
the
yeah.
hero in that film, man.
Yeah, he stuck it to the man.
No, yeah, I would say a fucking Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah, like you
Um,
don't see like what you say?
Bane.
Is Thanos gonna end up being iconic? He
Nah, he's the middest villain of all time. He
If he
doesn't
was
do
good, if he was
anything.
good,
He
from what
doesn't
I've
do
heard,
anything.
if he was good in Endgame, he probably could have been.
No, he's not good in Endgame.
Yeah,
He's-
that's the thing.
He's really
Endgame
good
he
in
shits the bed.
Infinity War.
There's no menace at all.
Mm.
I never felt a second of menace.
I don't
off
feel
Thanos.
like you feel menace in any Marvel movie though, because you know there's gonna be like 10 sequels coming up.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
this character
yeah.
isn't fucking dying. Like
Yeah.
Aunt May dies in fucking No Way Home. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aunt May.
Like I'm only sad because the MILF died.
Yeah, iconic.
Oh yeah, Marvel. You know.
I like Marvel.
Yeah.
I'll throw myself against them.
No, that's. I
Harold
mean,
Pot H.
we're not. No, we don't hate Marvel. We're just
We're just haters.
constant disappointment.
Have you seen like all the new? Like, do you when there's a new one out, do you go see it?
No, I wouldn't really know. Probably the last one I saw was like
I saw Shang-Chi.
Do you see Eternals?
No, sorry, I didn't see that. I saw Spider-Man.
the last one I saw was pretty Endgame.
Shit, that's why
So,
I go at this stage.
Yeah.
I've seen more than you. I've seen more of the more recent ones than I did. Like I haven't seen more or less any of them between Avengers and Endgame. I haven't seen any of them. I've seen Thor, Ragnarok, Winter Soldier,
Guardians probably.
Guardians. Haven't seen Ant-Man. Haven't seen Doctor Strange. Seen the first Spider-Man film. Haven't seen Civil War. Haven't seen anything more or less. Haven't seen Iron Man 2 or 3.
feel like at that stage, like maybe like 5 years ago, with those kind of franchises, you were like, yeah, I need to see everything. I need to be caught up. Whereas now you really don't.
You really don't.
Yeah, they actually
Really
tell
don't.
you.
You just
It's
stay on the loop
some
on.
doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you just watch the trailers. Like, I understand everything. I get it. The people, I was like, now I don't need the context of the new films anymore. All I need is the context of the films that I watched when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier now, way easier. Do we have any listener questions?
We do indeed.
We will move on to the listener question section. Say that 3 times as fast. It's hard. If you want to ask us a question, you can hit us up on Instagram or on Twitter at @paro_pod. Or Liam, what Gmail accounts can they hit us up at?
Paropod@gmail.com.
That's right, Liam. It is theparopod@gmail.com.
Oh god. Yeah, I'm gonna get sacked.
Oh jeez. That's it. You're never coming back.
No, that's it.
Liam, you're the first person we've ever had on the podcast that actually likes films.
Yeah.
So our first question
is that including you too?
Oh yeah. That is including us too.
Just masochists.
Yeah. The first question is actually coming in from yourself, Liam. You're asking, dick reveal on the pod?
Well, we have been sitting here naked for the past 2 hours.
That's how Liam, you've seen the process.
That's how
you
we
understand how it
record.
works.
You know, I
We see everything on the Parapod.
I've never felt more comfortable in my own skin.
That's what we aim to do.
That's what we aim to hit.
I forgot I asked that.
Can you pass me the butter there, please?
The butter.
Pass me the butter. Do you have the Instagram up in there?
Oh yeah. The next question is coming in from Poddy. Poddy's asking, have you seen The Death of Stalin?
Nari.
No. Have you seen? Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
I knew. I was like, Liam would have seen this
I was
film.
gonna say it was.
It's really good.
It's good. I've heard great things.
I'm surprised it feels like a real Paropod movie. Do you know much about it?
No,
I know
really,
it's a combo or something. That's it.
It's not.
It's not.
Is it not? Is it Armando Iannucci?
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who did Take of It and all.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I always get him mixed up with the guy who did Revenant.
Oh no! I think I'm Hail Caesar.
I've seen that too, if it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Death of Stalin's gas. It's just like I wouldn't really be much of a history buff, which is kind of where I feel like it stands as a great movie because I was really interested in it. But it's just like, what if the whole Stalin years or his death was just like a pantomime, basically? Like, you have Steve Buscemi in it, and I think Jason Isaacs is in it too, but it's just like a whole shit show the whole way through. I haven't seen it since the beginning of the pandemic again, but it's one of those movies where you'd have a gas time, but it doesn't it makes sure it keeps in like the shit was fucked up. Like,
That's a good balance.
Yeah, like I honestly would recommend it highly, especially for you too, because of it blends comedy with it's aware that everything that happened then was absurd, so they bring in jokes to show how absurd it was. It kind of has Succession vibes in a weird way, kind of like you shouldn't be laughing at this.
Yeah, because the guy who did Succession wrote for Take of It and Peep Show as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He did all those kind of British zany comedies as well. So,
but I actually have I got from my library recently his film he did after that. I don't know the full name, but it's on David Copperfield. So he did kind of like a piss take of that as well, where he had Dev Patel as David Copperfield.
I've heard that's really good.
Right,
Yeah.
I've heard it's really good. It's kind of like Ned Kelly.
Oh right, yeah. It's like playing with the lore, like or the mythology.
Which I guess this is that's a cool genre, like playful historical fiction.
I would honestly like Death Stalin. Wholeheartedly recommend. I say get on that. Thank you, Poddy.
Poddy's a good lad.
Poddy knows his
Poddy
stuff.
recommended a film fucking ages ago that we never watched.
Was it?
It's like the first chainsaw fight ever in a film or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Poddy keeps pantsing us with his fucking
he just keeps flexing on us. Like it's like there's actually an Irish kung fu movie. I think Poddy talked about it before as well.
Yeah, I'd read about that.
That came up on my TikTok recently or something like that.
Yeah,
I was like, Poddy, I remember you fucking saying that. So
he knows
Poddy's some fucking man, tell you that.
He's a fucking legend.
He's a good listener. He's better than you, Liam.
Yeah, not fair. Potty should be here, not me. He's me in the seat and keeping it warm.
Shall we leave it there, boys?
Yeah, why not?
Leave it at that.
We'll leave it
Do you have
there.
any closing thoughts, Liam? How did you enjoy your time on the pod?
Yeah, I regret opening with the vagina talk, but after that it was plain sailing.
Yeah.
You know, it's been pretty fun.
Well, it's better than the fucking time where we had Isabel on and I just talked about porn films for like fucking an hour.
Nice. This is,
I was like, oh, great.
this is normal Tuesday for
Yeah,
you.
it's just a regular Tuesday, you know?
Yeah.
This is your Wednesday that week, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's why I was
It
off
just-
kilter.
It just happened to be recorded. It's like, just do that normally every Tuesday.
I felt like we've been recording for so long. I'm not sure if Fluke was a movie or I imagined it or not.
Fluke? Oh, yeah, I
Fluke.
made that completely
Oh
up.
man,
Yeah,
that's what happens when I go
completely
back and
made that up.
listen. I'm like, oh yeah, Mark talked about this fucking weird film about cat people. I forgot about this. I thought I dreamt about it.
Cat people, yeah.
Oh, what
That's
a
great
time.
one. That's a great one. But
So,
yeah,
we will leave it there.
We'll
be
leave it
back next week.
next week with Network, Sidney Lumet, Paddy Chayefsky. Watch it, 1976.
All
It's
the
classic.
boys. The boys are back.
The lads, the boys are back in town. I'll see you then.
Liam, thank you for being here. Hope you
Thank
enjoyed
you,
your
Liam.
time.
It's been a pleasure.
Hope the pod wasn't too sticky for you.
I have never been stickier in my life, and I'm satisfied.
That's what we aim to do here.
Yes.
Satisfaction. Good night. God bless.
Sayonara.
Goodbye.